enough of me, let's get back to this gorgeous view. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Welcome to the Black Pew.
Thank y'all for tuning in another Black Pew podcast. We have a full house in here. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Tired.
3-day weekend.
Yeah.
For who?
For me.
Not
Not
in
in
the
the
medical
medical
field.
field.
6 o'clock tomorrow.
Right.
I got one of them jobs.
I almost forgot it was a weekend. I always went to work tomorrow.
3 day for what? What's going on?
President's Day.
Oh.
Medical
Hey,
world don't respect the president.
You know
No,
what I
I'm joking.
So you know how black folks look for like a holiday to barbecue? I just learned white folks look for a holiday to blow fireworks. 'Cause in my neighborhood, every holiday, it don't matter. They just blow fireworks all damn day. They're blowing fireworks in my neighborhood still since like 7 o'clock this morning.
Really?
Swear to God.
For President's Day?
Yes.
That's serious. Just relax.
Yes.
Relax.
I've just seen a lot
And
of
this is
people
like,
holding up the flags and the
You're
German
wondering
flags.
what
too.
it is?
Isn't it
Like the Seahawks
stockpile
games.
these?
Where I'm at,
You know what I
every
mean?
time
Just
the
go
Seahawks
and
get
buy
the
everything
touchdown
on
or whatever,
4th of
it's
July
like,
and be like,
wow.
yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't think.
Somebody spent $100,000 in fireworks this
Yes,
year.
they did.
Not that serious.
Every year, they clearly do it.
Just saying. They got it for every occasion. You know, you like,
Yeah, they start popping them, a few days before 4th of July, just so you know they got
Yeah,
them.
just go. Yeah.
They throw it up. We got them.
And
annoying.
You know,
There's
it
a-
is.
there's
It's
a-
annoying, not just because they're loud, but I have a whole dog. and it
Exactly, a
bothers
whole
him. So on
dog,
top
right.
of that, it's a big.
Oh,
pitbull.
it
He
makes
is a whole
me
dog.
nervous.
Do you give him the weed treats?
Yeah, well, he has an upset stomach, so I can't give him like Benadryl and stuff. But some of that weed, like the CBD stuff, makes him sick, and then he's throwing up for 2 days.
See, that's the thing.
and
Like,
because he has really bad ulcers, and he's really high maintenance.
The
I
dog-
really don't
Sounds
want to talk
like
about it.
it.
It's just the barking.
the
I don't
dog
like.
angle for me, as far as fireworks, I'm like,
My dog had a whole
You're bad.
anxiety attack. We thought he was dying. $400 later, I found out he had an anxiety attack because I thought he was dying. Like he passed out on the ground and couldn't walk straight because of his nerves with the fireworks. And it was a baby dog. We just let her go out to go pee. When she came back in, she was like this because the fireworks and then fell to the ground. And my daughter was screaming. I had to take the dog in, and they were like,
Dog
after
had a
they
stroke?
kept the dog overnight,
Yeah, no, she
they
was
were like, they said
like
it was
completely-
anxiety.
Anxiety attack.
No,
attack.
I had a client once, and her dog would have like full-on seizures.
I never seen a dog have an anxiety attack, but
they
Hold on,
adopted
seizures.
too much of our stuff.
Yeah, they did. I'm like,
Had another
oh,
friend's
no,
dog had
buddy.
diabetes, and he
You're
had to
supposed
give
be a dog.
him like insulin shots and stuff. It was a lot.
Really?
Back in my
Me and
day,
my dog
dogs
just
could
barks a
handle
lot. He has
stuff. You know what I
ulcers.
mean?
my pit bull had no feelings.
Yeah.
That dude was just a stone mug.
Yeah.
Dude, he
So you
was
gotta
a
let
dude.
when they're young, you gotta shoot fireworks at them.
I buy earplugs.
You're stupid.
hella Roman candles. Just,
Yeah, exactly.
No, earplugs pop
And they
in.
still look
Bam,
at you
bam,
like
hit
you
him with the
Yeah.
poppets.
Like dodge it. You can.
No,
you
I
get
don't
hit.
like. I don't like.
That's the
loud
thing. I think
poppers when they ran through
You
the
get
house.
hit.
My
Poppers on the
God.
ground. Pop, pop.
you get hit by a firework, then you know, like, hey, this thing's is cool, but I gotta watch out. Like,
How
like,
many
oh,
have
this
you
is
been
fun,
hit by?
but like now, but
Or you blow out some fingers. Or something
yeah,
like that.
pretty much. But we're gonna get to this topics. First topic on the list is the Super Bowl. How did everybody watch it? Everybody watched the halftime, the
Yes.
Super Bowl halftime.
I
The
tuned
halftime,
in just
yes.
for the halftime.
What's wrong, Marv?
How did everybody feel about it? I for one liked it. I thought it was dope. I liked the scheme of it. The city. I like that the what they were walking on was like the city the map of the city.
It's pretty dope.
Somebody was saying even in the map there was traffic. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But no, I like the show. I didn't even notice Eminem kneeling
I didn't either.
until later. Until they were like, oh,
playback.
Eminem knelt. And I was like, that's why he was down so long. I just thought he was like just chilling. Like,
Yeah, I was wondering what he
it's
was
cut
It
doing
was like
too.
a
camera.
quick
They just
pan
cut off
through,
the
like
camera.
pan by. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
The focus.
because I was focused on Dr.
The
Dre.
whole
Right.
time towards the end, right? Like, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
It
was.
was a long time. It was a long time. He kneeled for a long time.
Yeah, I was focused on Dr. Dre playing the piano because I was like, oh, he actually is going to get on the piano and play.
Right?
Like, and I'm
I
like,
feel like that stole the shine of whatever he thought he was doing because I was like, oh, Dr. Dre playing. Okay.
because we didn't really used to seeing him play.
No.
Right. I liked it. I thought Mary J looked amazing.
I thought she did too.
Her
Yes.
boots. I'm about to go grab me some. I don't know
Okay.
where I'm gonna find them that big, but we gonna work it out.
We gonna work it out.
But no, I thought she looked amazing. I loved it. Just all a bunch of songs that that we all grew up with and we all enjoyed at their times. And I thought it was cool. I'm irritated that some people are finding issue with it. I'm like,
Right.
what? But here's the thing: if that's not your genre of music, it makes sense that you didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's kind of.
But
We
we
hate
don't
it to
sit
the
there
other
and
genre
watch,
so much. Let them have. Let us have it. I mean, if
Yeah,
that's not
sit
your
there
genre,
and watch
it's
the
not your thing.
cheerleaders do their thing,
Right.
and you have no issue with that, but you have issue with that. No.
Right.
I
But
had a coworker come up to me, an older Caucasian lady who's probably like 72, and she was like, "Did you watch the Super Bowl? Did you see the halftime show? Ugh, I just don't get it. There was nothing great about that one." I was like, "Oh my gosh, ma'am."
right.
You don't
I
know.
was like, "Oh, I'm sad you didn't like it." That's all I could say to her. I was like,
Well, it was. I think part of it was like I think there was nothing really for somebody to get upset about. Like if you don't like hip hop, you were just gonna find any fault with it. But you couldn't say, oh, there was scantily clad women in there because there actually wasn't. Like
No.
they're like
all 50s dancers were fully dressed.
yeah, and like he was the funniest part.
Yeah, that too.
But like Mary, that's the thing
Well,
about
I mean,
it.
but that, women
Like,
dance
everybody
behind
was
women
saying, like,
usually.
everybody
But
was fully
dressed.
Right. Everybody was
Yeah.
fully
Dude was right there
Mary was the
beasting.
one who was showing
Shut
the most.
your
She
mouth.
was still yeah.
you not.
Upside down.
He look as you
he know he was
as you get
beasting upside
older,
down?
your body changes. So I thought he
I
looked
thought he was
decent.
Ben Rames. I was like, is that
I hate you. I don't know how he hung upside down so long and then started
He
singing.
lost
though.
his voice hanging upside down
His
that
head
long.
got
You
the
couldn't hear what he-
swelling up. You
Okay,
see
he had that little. I was like, baby.
I
don't
just
need
was
it.
there. I was there. I needed Mary to give us her kneecaps. You know what I'm saying? When she
Yes.
did her little dance. I was
Okay.
on her knees. I was here for Snoop sea walking.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was here for Kendrick. That's
Oh,
my
yes.
guy.
that was the best
I
part. I think
love
that was the
it.
best part.
I
Kendrick was the
love
best part.
Kendrick. I love
Yes.
that Fatima had everything to do with the choreography.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Fatima. I like how everybody was grooving.
Yeah.
Like the entire picture moved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was ignorant in my living room.
Me too, girl. I was
So
too.
I was like,
I was doing what Mary
Dancing
wasn't
donkey
doing. You
with
know what I
no
mean? I was
shame.
doing it with her, for her.
yeah.
Right.
When
It was
Mary
good.
started doing this, she had the
I'll
nerve
plead
to
the
fall
fifth.
out.
You
I was like,
alright,
it's
I
okay,
mean,
girl. It's
I'll
all
plead the
right.
fifth for her.
No, how do you feel about it? You gotta say.
Man. Nah, man.
I was here
So,
for
yeah, I'm
it.
gonna be the Uncle Ruckus. You feel me?
Oh no!
Nah, for real, because I hate the
Uncle Ruck.
imagery. Like I hate the imagery.
Of what?
As a black man, I hate the imagery.
Of what?
And-
Of which part?
No, we 40-year-old gangsters. You feel me? Like of us celebrating something that we celebrated in our most immature state. Like I feel like we have better to represent when we talk about the greatest, and that's not the greatest to me. Now, all these people have great things that they can be celebrated for, and I just don't think that's the light that we should celebrate them in. Because just like somebody coming to you and say that we reestablish a stereotype, we reestablish when every time we're sitting there and we're partying to this, we're reestablishing that stereotype that everybody's thought about us when we feel like this whole past couple years, even longer than that, but this couple years we've been shining a light on changing that narrative. And so I like that's why because I already know it's gonna be one of those things where Mario got that, but it is what it is because me I work so hard to change my imagery from that because I don't get me wrong. I
You don't wanna
understand the
be- you don't wanna be
nostalgia. I understand the
perceived.
nostalgia of it. I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it was hard for me because it took me down memory lane. I remember my mind state at that time, so it took me back to a place. But at the same time, that place wasn't a good place. It wasn't even a good place for us as black and so for us to put those up and actually like. It was almost like we were presenting our heroes, and our children look at that. So we obviously send them down that road into that mind state to where we could possibly prevent that and give them their own pass. It's almost like pushing them down that road when you're putting your stamp of approval on it. And so I didn't like.
But you
Like
don't think,
I didn't like it.
you don't
I
think
didn't.
it was like a good nod
Nah.
to West Coast culture.
Nah, I'm from the West.
Dre's-
I'm from California.
Dre's lengthy
Nah.
contribution to hip hop, his
Nah.
longevity, hits that kind of
Nah,
changed
I feel like
the
there's
genre as a whole,
I
and
feel
then
like-
everybody's kind of branched out
I feel like
into
there's
their own
a different
entrepreneurial
way to
ventures.
celebrate that. I don't feel like that was the moment. I feel like that was the moment where we could have shined the light.
But
on
if it
somebody
was a
else.
part of their story,
Who do you think
why
should have
not
been up
it
there?
in
I mean,
I
because
mean that
These are
that could be a debate, but
successful
this is pretty much what happened. It said, you
entrepreneurs.
know what, we feel a certain way about the stamp that we've allowed black people to make in the NFL. So guess what? We're gonna pick the people that's gonna perform for you. I mean, in that state, in that situation, and I feel like this is what's going on because in corporate America, instead, they're just making the decision for us to put who we think they should be putting up there instead of
But didn't
consulting us.
Dre
That was
pay to
Jay
do
Z that
show?
put them up there, though.
Didn't Dre pay $7 million for that?
I don't care. That's my whole thing. It's the imagery. It's not. Like
So
I said,
who
these
do you
people.
feel-
My
whole- do you
my
feel
whole thing.
was
My whole thing. It's not even about. It's my
acting
whole
like
thing.
a gangster. I mean, other than Snoop, because Snoop's gonna be Snoop.
If you got E40
I'm
up there,
just
you
saying.
might.
They were having fun.
I'm
That's-
just saying.
I just-
and
look at that as
like
fun.
I said, people gonna have
Who
issue with what I say, but that's just my.
I'm gonna be honest. I respect your opinion. Like even here, like though I enjoyed it because of the legacy and all of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Though I enjoyed
the
all
nostalgia
of that.
Yeah, I get all of that.
And the nostalgia, the legacy, what it stood for. I loved the show. To hear your logic behind it, I'm like, no, I hear you. You know, like, no, I respect your theology. It was like, no, and to be honest, don't even completely disagree with you. It's like, despite the fact that I enjoyed it,
The logic makes
like the
perfect
logic makes sense. So I'm here for it.
It does.
Else-
And thank you
else-
for saying it because
I
nobody
don't
else
know.
has even
I
taken. Well, at least
don't-
nobody for me has taken that perspective.
I can't tell you, but
If Nip was alive, what would he do?
I wouldn't even. I would.
YG. Who
but-
else from Cali?
That's not what you're understanding. I feel like we come from this culture where we push people to say, hey, play basketball, be a rapper, play football, do all these things. We didn't teach them to be doctors. We didn't teach them to be lawyers. We didn't teach them to do all these things. And so when we put our best out, that's what we have, these 40, 50-year-old crip walking on a stage and saying, drop it like it's hot. You feel me? And we're all jumping around
But
like we
do we
15 and
say
16.
But those are
no,
our
no,
performers.
That's entertainment.
I'm trying to help
It's
you understand.
entertainment.
This is why. It's because right now our kids are trying to become them now because we're not we're reinforcing that. And what we're saying is at the biggest stage, those are the people who profit. Those are the people who monetize off it. Those are the people who become rich and famous. We're not talking about the people in the shadows that probably live in the same neighborhood as them.
Oh
and
well,
probably
they're
make
never
more
gonna
money
have a
than them.
doctor performing open heart surgery for the halftime show.
No, I hear that, but what I'm saying is that why we have to produce that is because at the most immature state, that's what we were producing people to be, and so that's what we have to produce. Like we don't.
But
They
the
say
thing
that's
about it
almost, they
is
say that's one of the
halftime is
greatest
for
halftime show
entertainment.
ever. There's so many more that was better than that, and Prince was one of the greatest ever. Let's be real.
But we don't have a Prince anymore.
But what I'm trying to say is he was so different, and nobody else. So many people aren't going to try to walk that lane because he was in his own lane.
But I think
I hear
also,
what you're saying. We don't got
have
a Michael. We don't have an MJ.
That's
We ain't
all
got a
I'm saying.
Prince.
I'm
We're-
not knocking.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking those guys.
Yeah, I hear
They've
you.
accomplished a lot, and I think they should be. I think they should be celebrated for their accomplishments. But when we parade people out and say this is the best of our best in front of the world, like I just didn't think that was a good look for us as black
I
people.
think one thing is like when we have stuff like this, I totally understand what you're saying, but when other people and I feel like we're the only ones that do that, where we say, what did this person come from? Like that shouldn't represent us. And a lot of times other races, that person doesn't represent them. Ozzy Osbourne does not represent, like he doesn't have people behind him saying, "Oh, you represent us. You're a horror." Like
You
you're
don't have to parade it like that.
But
they're not parading it
but
like,
here's the thing.
oh, the black car, da 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 da. Oh, the
they're
all
not-
black cast.
they're
da, da, da,
also-
da, da.
But- but
They're
here-
not promoting
but
it
they
like
were-
that. So
They're
we
not
don't
telling
feel,
them they're too
They're
old to be up there.
promoting as a
Yeah,
status
but
quo.
hold on. But at the same time,
Right.
we are not emotionally invested. white people ain't mostly invested in Ozzie Smith because because they're not promoting like, oh, the white power cast and all that, because that's how they almost promoted it, as far as like, oh, all this is gonna be the black moguls kind of thing. That's how they kind of promoted it. Oh, one white dude, Eminem. Like, I mean, you think about it. That's how they promoted it. So black people, when they do black stuff, because they put the black label on it, we become emotionally invested already into it.
I think we got emotionally invested too, because it was the music from it was our 90s, but it wasn't. It was more that like then
everybody didn't listen to West Coast music at that time.
They never put us on, though.
But a lot of people.
At this time, you get the whole world listening, so it's different.
But a lot of people,
like this is just for the West Coast.
But I'm saying, but that's the thing about it, was that it wasn't just a West Coast thing. They did it as an homage to who was doing music at that time, what Dre was doing at that time, and also that was a part of the show that
Still
everybody
not rocking with it.
But here's the thing,
I get it.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it struck a good balance of representing West Coast culture, no matter what's happening. In like, if it could be like there's Crips and Bloods, yes, that's not a good imagery.
West Coast culture is too expensive to live. There's babies living on the street.
But that's
and cities are going bankrupt. That's West Coast culture.
That's
it's not Crip walking.
They didn't
and
bring in
living
Crips or Bloods
and bouncing on 6'4". I'm just saying, like, come on, let's be real. Like, let's.
No,
Dre even toned down Kendrick, asking him not to put on, the lyrics of, you know what I'm talking about, if Pyrus and Crips all got along.
Right.
He didn't sing about that. It wasn't about Crips or Bloods.
Right.
I feel like they even said what Kendrick's part was, because I was listening for certain words.
I was too.
I feel like he edited himself, and I think it was wise.
Oh, no,
Yes.
I thought Kendrick. I love Kendrick's part.
Yes.
I thought it was the best part of the whole thing, because I felt like his part was the most cerebral part of the whole thing. Then he put more thought into how he was presenting himself and what he was presenting, and so his part was very powerful to me. Everybody else was just like, it was like, oh, we capitalized off nostalgia. Yeah, okay, California. Okay, so.
But
so what?
But isn't that all the other artists do the same thing?
Yeah, that's what they
But
deserve.
Mike
They
did
put
that.
the work in.
Okay, but
Prince did
we're
that.
at a point where we can
them
make
have
a
it.
stamp, and we can make a historical landmark.
That is your
We're at a
stamp,
point where
though.
we can make a historical landmark, and we chose.
What? Okay, so
That
you know
is
what's
their
going through my
landmark.
mind?
They are the
whole world is
originators.
watching
The
it.
opening
we
for
chose
the
Crip
Olympics
Walk.
is a
I'm saying,
similar
it's-
stage.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Whole
your
world watching
issue-
it. We
so
chose the Crip
What
Walk.
was
That's what I'm
supposed to
saying.
come from
So
Cali?
let me
I'm
guess.
just saying, 50 Cent ain't from Cali.
And
But
he was
I'm
Mary
saying,
J.
But he's
I'm
from
saying,
Dre.
I think Mary
He's
J's from
offshoot
New
of
he was
Dre.
a special guest. You could
So
No.
was Mary.
Right.
not
And
from
then
Cali.
Dre
Eminem,
had-
not from Cali.
But Dre brought them out.
But it's not Cali. It's not Cali. So if you wanted to make California, if you wanted to make West Coast theme, regardless of if Dre brought him out, that was when Dre left Cali.
But I
But
think
this was
also,
But their
Dre's crew.
sound is Dre.
yeah, I think
Regardless
that's what part
Dre
of
left
it
Cali.
was.
It was Dre. It was the theme was not West Coast.
It was the Dre
if you
show.
Seen, if you
It
seen,
was
if
Dr.
you seen when
Dre.
Kendrick Lamar was performing, it said Dre Day. The theme was Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
that was the theme.
Okay.
That was all it was.
And what
so
else did
I-
Dr. Dre do that he should have
and
produced?
he's
different
he's
images?
always been a mostly West Coast
I
guy.
didn't. I love. Like I said, I get everything. I love the nostalgia of it.
I feel
get it.
you on imagery.
But that's why I said
But what
the imagery
else
of
was
it.
supposed to come?
I love your perspective,
From-
honestly. So question:
I don't know how to.
if it had been the same artist and they had just chose different performances,
I would have rocked with it.
okay. So if they
I
would
would've
have,
rocked
let's
with
say they admitted the Crip Walk, he had a whole completely different fit on, and they were up there dancing choreography like anybody else.
If
you'd
he
have been
did,
cool.
if he
It was
did
just-
beautiful,
right?
you know,
I can.
you
Okay.
can rock the
Well,
crowd with
Memphis
beautiful.
artist, it was just
you can rock the crowd with
Memphis
beautiful.
is not gonna cut out
It wasn't the.
juking.
It wasn't the. It was the
Chicago
imagery
not
of
gonna
it.
cut
It was
out drill
I can
music.
take
It's
that.
organic to where they're from. You see what I'm saying? Why
Snoop-
cut out
Snoop was
Seawalking
in-
and it's from Cali?
It's not. No, see, it's not. It's not.
I feel it.
See, sea walking is not Cali. It's gang culture.
Yes.
That is
And that's
based.
the-
No,
on
but I don't
Cali.
care what you want to call this gang culture. That's how we lost half of the people. We're
From
the
doing
Seawalk
funerals. We're doing funerals.
I feel you.
We're doing funerals, pouring out liquor, doing all that for Crip walking.
But
So we're putting pride in the imagery that has killed, stolen, and destroyed from us, and we don't say that's our best. Nah, man, I'm cool.
So do we just trash hip hop altogether?
I'm not.
Or what? 'Cause
I'm not.
It's
I'm saying. I'm saying if you want to celebrate it yourself and your whole nostalgia and all that, but I say we have to move forward when we pick these moments to where they can be historical landmarks for us.
Different songs.
That
I feel
criticism is real. I feel you, I understand. But do you have a suggestion? What else should have been done?
Different
And
songs, different imagery.
in order for us to find a solution, we first must have to find the problem. And right now, that is the problem.
Because if
they
he-
got us stuck in the past.
okay, so if he had it done beautiful, but he had a still crip walk, you would have been okay with that?
No, I probably still wouldn't have been okay with it. I wouldn't have been. I'm not okay with what he wore. Because he wore a huge flag. Like, come on, man. You're 50 years old. Why are you walking out celebrating this stuff? Even Nipsey didn't walk out like that as a young man. He mixed it up. Yes, he knew where he came from, and he didn't. But he wasn't walking out, crip walking, and
But
doing
if
all
you
that.
Look at Nipsey's stuff.
He grew from it.
That was definitely a part of his journey, and it's definitely in his
It
art.
definitely was, but you, I don't think Nipsey would have been at the Super Bowl. We all know Nipsey only famous because he died.
How's something gonna be done?
Like
How's
we
something
all
gonna
know
be
he wasn't
done
gonna be at the Super Bowl.
in his city? The only other person who had that type of turnout at the Staples Center for their service was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but we all it's
You
all
don't think
because
he would have been at that Super Bowl
no,
in his city?
no.
I
No,
don't
we
know.
all know. We all know.
I don't know.
Nipsey,
That's-
no, come on, man.
No, you're.
Come on,
I think we're talking about two different things because I think you're talking about.
He didn't have that. We're not saying. I'm not saying Nipsey wasn't big.
No,
but
no.
the way he promoted himself wasn't as of such.
No, but
so
what-
I don't
talking
believe that he
culture.
was going.
But I think that's what I'm saying. I think
Nah.
the West Coast culture
he
would
took
have
a
put
whole
him on the show, not his artistry.
Yeah.
What you're saying is his artistry wasn't up to that level yet, and you're right. And you're right. His death definitely propelled him more.
Yes.
I would agree
But
with
I
that.
think, because a lot of people could say that about a lot of people. I saw some people say that about like Kendrick. Why was Kendrick on the show? He's
Kendrick's a goat.
he's a newer artist, but we would say his artistry over the imagery.
He's amazing.
wrecked
He
the
deserves
billboards
to
when
be
he
up
dropped-
there. No one else can.
I'm talking.
Around this era, no one else can compare to Kendrick.
Honestly,
Billboard.
I
No
don't
one
know
else.
why there were even black artists up there to begin with, seeing as how the NFL treat black people. So while it was entertaining, it was like a minstrel show.
Ooh.
Thank you.
I've been boycotting the NFL for a very long time. The only reason I tuned in was to see the halftime show because I saw who was going to be on the halftime show. I was like, yeah, I need to see this. And for me, I grew up in a different type of culture. Rap was not played in our house. We had to sneak and listen
Yep,
to it.
exactly. Me too.
So, you know, I was like, oh, okay, this is not. I was like, this is it. This is the halftime show. But for me, I don't even know why they were there to begin with. I mean, I think black people should be boycotting the NFL anyway. That's just my stance on it because of how they treat people, how they treat their athletes, how they treat their employees. You know, my standpoint is like, oh, let's just pay the black people to go jump around on the field. We'll get views. We get paid for it. We make all these millions of dollars from people watching it. And they pocket the money. Now they don't. I didn't know the performers did. The performers don't.
Yeah,
get paid.
every year that's a
Right?
that people like.
But here's the thing: why not? That's their craft. That's their bread and butter. Why aren't they getting paid?
Because-
and even if you don't pay them, why aren't you giving it to a charity of their choice or something
Well,
like that?
it's the ultimate exposure.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm
we-
tired
It's
of
usually
talking to
career
artists about
environment.
But those
exposure.
artists don't need
but-
exposure.
Exactly.
So, especially those ones.
But here's
Pay
the thing
the
about
whole
like
money.
The Weeknd did it last year, and The Weeknd launched his tour from that show, and so for the artists,
That was in the Grammys and all that.
yeah,
type
and
of stuff,
so
yeah.
for the artists, like even I get you, is it the era of exposure is over with.
Bruno just went over the moon.
But you
No,
don't,
but-
yeah, you don't make. They don't. The fact of the matter is, it's all about money,
Mm-hmm.
and the money don't trickle downward. Okay, You have all of these players damaging their bodies, putting years on their bodies, and they're making billions of dollars off of these people. And just to keep them happy and contented, let's get Dre and all these people to do all these things.
But
For
we
me,
don't know why
yes,
they
it was
did it.
entertaining, but when I think, just how I was thinking, because I've been born and cut in the NFL, I was like, oh, so it's Black History Month. They get a bunch of Black people to go make Black people happy and feel comfortable and forget about all the
I mean, the Super Bowl
screwed
always
up,
in Black history.
screwed
Month,
up,
so.
screwed
Yeah.
up. Well,
It can't
true.
escape Black history.
Like I said, I don't really know much about it.
So we're talking about how these people can use their money to possibly invest and manipulate our community's futures, right?
No. It's
No,
all a
I'm-
scheme.
no,
It's how
well-
to keep our money. It's so
Not only that, no, they're making money off of it.
no, exactly. So it's how
But
to
we
keep-
don't
we
know.
take
The
that
artists
money
probably
and
wanted
then we
to
use
do
it
it
to
because they
profit
had
us.
something coming up that they needed our attention.
But
for.
how does that? But what I'm saying is,
I hear you.
Maybe their bank ain't what it used to be.
Sometimes you just have to have a little bit of integrity because we know it's the NFL, yes, and we want to have tours, we want to have this, but we see how they treat their people.
But we can't expect one man to put on his shoulders everything that everybody else is going through if he needs
But
to
it
feed
takes
his family.
one. It has to start somewhere.
It has to
Kaepernick
start.
tried
It has
to do
start
this.
It has to start somewhere. And what bigger stage?
He made that
So
statement
you don't think
there.
I
But
just
see,
I
and
just
they-
don't feel
so-
like we should feel
but we
like
don't
we
think
should
he
have
lost-
the weight of
Well, I hear what
everything
you're
we're
saying.
going through on one
He
man's
lost
shoulders.
his capital. He lost his bread and butter.
Kaepernick,
Did he?
talking about?
Kaepernick,
Yeah.
yes.
His potential of earning went down when he left.
Definitely, greatly.
I mean,
He could have earned more
he
money.
ended up
He
got-
still
yeah.
got. He still
I
got-
guarantee you,
hold on.
we're
He
not
ended
going to
up still-
forget him.
But he still ended
No.
up signing a huge settlement with the NFL.
But-
he didn't lose his Nike endorsement, and he became a very polarizing figure. There's films out and stuff like so. He earned on the back end.
But at
Yes.
the same time, at the same clip, it's not the same money
Well,
because it was the 10 million he got from the NFL. How much does Russell Wilson
hold
get a
on.
year?
I'm about to explain to you right now because you don't know. We don't know what his potential earnings may be, and so that's the thing. He could earn more in the back end than he could ever earn as an NFL player. Look at Dave Chappelle.
That is
when
true.
he walked away from $50 million. And he parlayed that in the back end from Netflix into almost $100 million. And so he almost doubled his take from his integrity. They would have got the same exposure from walking away from that platform because of how the platform treats Black people than performing on that
Exactly.
platform.
Because
They would have been.
Instagram would have gotten it,
What are you
and
talking
then
about?
they would have shared
they
it.
all
And
know
we
that
would
That's
have
what I'm
shared
saying.
it, and
If
then, no,
they
they
had-
would have gotten more.
it
You're
was a-
right. If they would have walked away,
they
they
had
would have gotten
enough-
more.
they had
The
enough
social media
viewership to
would have
make
ran
it
with
if
it.
who would have walked away?
No,
But
because what he said.
what I'm saying
what he
is
just
this.
If Dr. Dre would have walked away from doing halftime,
If they don't squander their money.
He might have gotten more.
no, they wouldn't have
invested-
because
they
first of
use
all,
it to grow.
If they're only doing it
No.
for exposure,
but here's the thing.
if they're only doing it for exposure, them walking away from it still creates the exposure from
exposure.
everybody that
No,
was
it
going to watch it
doesn't.
in the first
No,
place.
no, it doesn't because first of all, this would have been a decision back in March of last year. They would have been like, "Oh, I just decided not to do the Super Bowl. Why'd you do it? Oh, because I chose. They got a lot of stuff going on. I don't agree with their stance on black people." On how they treat the black players. Cool. That would have got lost in the news cycle within a month. That would have got lost in the news cycle.
Yeah, they
Wait,
may
no,
have brought it up
somebody
later.
some
I don't
people
know.
get
Do you
shot every
remember
day.
so-and-so
That would have got lost in
was
the
gonna be
news
sorry?
cycle.
And that's
Versus
a toss-up because no, I hear you because you're right. It could have gotten lost, but also all it takes is for one leak, and now the whole social media knows.
You talking
So
about
it coulda
Snoop,
went-
Dr.
coulda
Dre,
went any- it coulda
I
went
just
either
feel like
way.
it would have hang
Kendrick
on
Lamar
tight.
turned
It could've
down the
went either way.
Super Bowl to perform at the halftime. You think that's going to get swept under the rug?
But
could've
it would.
went
I
either
don't
way.
think it would have garnered that much attention enough to give them more exposure, more everything than they do now. Because because how many people have turned down the Super Bowl before, and it didn't help them anymore.
For no reason. Now, if it would have gotten caught up, this is why they did it. I feel like Marv said, I feel like social media would have taken it
But
and ran
here-
with it. It
this
could have
is
went
my
either
only
way.
thing.
and they have their own platforms to where they could have put that out.
Absolutely.
They're already on top of their craft. They don't need the Super Bowl at all to.
Right.
I mean, they're
They don't.
the pinnacle.
Yeah. No, but here's a funny thing about that. Even if they had even if they had said they walked away or whatever, all they had to do was say they were going to show up and then don't show up. I'm just saying that would have been a protest in itself, or
was
not
thinking the same
or
thing.
not
Yeah.
perform.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Just not
I'm gonna-
perform.
Yes.
I'm
just
gonna go back to this
Yeah.
minstrel show. Poor imagery. nostalgia. What should be there then?
We haven't
What
created.
should be there?
We haven't created something.
We haven't
have
created a
created.
solution.
Hold on.
We've
How
gotten
have
rid
we
of
not?
everything that we've got.
We haven't gotten rid of everything. In fact, we're starting to take positions where we can control the content.
Well, if that's the case,
So
then why did
how?
we put that up there?
Exactly.
if that's
is
the
that?
case, then
What
why
is
we put
that?
that up there?
What is that, though?
I'm just saying, if we know we have better options, because believe me,
Who's the
I'm
better
not paying
option,
attention.
though? Is what we,
I'm not paying
that's what
attention
we
like
know.
that. But
How-
if we have
well,
better
well,
options,
there we
no, the
go.
reason why I'm not paying attention like that because I'm making sure that I'm good in my life. That's the main focus. I can't focus on
I think no
everybody
matter
else.
who
If
they
I'm
put up
not-
there,
if I'm not, hold on.
it
If
would've
I'm not
been a
right,
problem.
I can't help nobody else. That's the first thing, and that's what black people don't get wrong. We be messed up and we be trying to help everybody else and their mama. No, get yourself right. I'm getting myself right, so I ain't focused on everybody else because that's how you get distracted from getting yourself right. And so that's one. Two. Yes, we've created this. We've created this monster to make it acceptable for us to parade them out there and everybody to say it's okay. But no, it's not. And that's all I'm saying. The imagery of it is bad.
I feel like for you to have such an opinion, then you are paying attention. You know what I mean? That means
I
that
was
you
watching the Super Bowl, yes, because it was the Super Bowl.
no, to watch and to formulate such a strong opinion is two different things. I watch commercials all day. I promise you, I don't have an opinion other than, that might look good. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. So I do know that for the past, I know we have lost our lives for the past year and a half to 2 years. And so everybody
we've been losing.
No.
longer than that.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
Our
the
way of life?
pandemic, our way of life.
Okay.
And so we've been set back a couple years, and so that time we've just been sitting on pause and watching what's been going on. So we're at this point to why all these things are at a heightened because it's like, how could you not be aware? And that's where everybody is facing right now. It's like, how could you not be aware? You had time to sit back and watch. It's in front of your face. So yeah, I've watched what's going on. I've also watched black people try to make a push to re-image how the world views them, because like I said last week, everybody else didn't have to fight to be viewed differently. We don't view Germans the way we viewed them back in World War I, World War II, in Hitler's regime. We don't view Japan when they were bombing Pearl Harbor the same way we view Japanese today. Like, we view those people as allies instead of enemies. But the black culture, what we try to do is we always try to make them this aggressive, this heinous type of culture, so that they always reinforce that stereotype when they come in contact with us in reality.
But
And
Germans and Asians haven't been subjected to the same type of systemic.
That's not what I'm saying.
But hold on. But aren't we trying to
have.
change our image as well?
And so I'm saying
It was a feel-good show, and I felt good. That's all I know.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If we are trying to change our image, why are we using the image that we were parading in front of the world 20, 30 years ago?
Because that is how he got paid. He got paid
that's in
because
the
he was a
past.
rapper who was a Crip, and there was so many
Okay,
people.
okay.
But he's a grown man. He lives a different life. You know,
Okay,
he's
so
not
why
on
is
the
he still putting out the imagery?
But how about
Because
we're
it's
just
what
now
pays him
starting
and
to
takes
get
care of his
seen,
family,
period.
and that's how he decided to live his life.
How
I
about we're just
understand.
now?
He's making
understand.
That's why
Exactly.
I'm like,
We're
why
just
don't they
now
just pay
starting to
these
get
people?
platforms
They're
that are
making them
larger
do
with
it.
black
understand.
filmmakers, black writers, black producers, black directors. Like, why are we acting like our faces have been seen? Period.
Jamie Foxx could have been up there for all I care.
Doing what?
Doing what?
I don't plan.
I'm a fan of Jamie Foxx. He
But
could
I
have
don't
did
care.
anything
I
for
would've
me.
been better than
I
that.
love
I'm
Jamie,
just
but
saying.
I'm
Sounds to
just
me like
saying.
you only had an issue with the imagery of the Crip stuff. So like I said earlier,
I
I
had
don't
it-
even think
I
the issue
had
was
it-
even
yeah.
the artist. I think
No,
it was
it
that
wasn't the
The
artist.
Crips
It was
that
the
come
imagery
from
of what we-
California.
It
No,
was
I
the
feel
imagery
it.
of what we put. It was the
Yeah.
imagery of what we presented.
because 50
What we
didn't do
presented.
it. It was really kind of Snoop's thing is what it seems like your biggest issue had been, because I don't remember 50 doing nothing gang related. I think he played in the
No.
club, which
Yeah.
nothing. Mary J's was
That's now a
same, was
birthday
Mary.
hit, you know.
Kendrick did his thing. I forget the ones that Dre said.
His
So it
was
really almost
his
sounds like
was
it-
his was patterned after Meteor
Crip
Man.
walking
It's
and
still-
stuff.
Exactly.
No, I feel you.
Golden
Okay.
Lords,
there.
baby lords.
It's
He
still-
was
Yeah.
doing media.
I mean, I could go deep
Out the
into
box.
it. We want to, but we ain't got that much time.
I mean,
I could
if
go.
you,
There's
it
layers
was
to it. It ain't
entertaining. I
Snoop,
just
but
didn't
you feel
like.
me? There's layers to it.
No, but
There's layers to it.
but I think we all get that. Like,
Layers to it.
there can be two different things. But I think that the imagery thing, it kind of cuts both ways, because if we're not there to show a different image than what they see, because frankly, the halftime show has always been them putting up an artist, a nostalgia artist, for nostalgia purposes. Like they could put up Journey, they could put up Rolling Stones, and we wouldn't say anything about. They could have dancers and all those things, and they could have rock. That's what I'm saying. Like
we're the biggest consumers. Think about it. All the music was either gang related or consumer related. You know, club bottle popping. Highline. Come on.
I think
it's layers to this.
But at the same,
we could do better.
Taylor Swift and them, they're singing the same
but
thing.
most of the people. But hold on. Wait. The consumers.
Better.
Hold on. The consumers, because what is the who is the main consumer of hip
White
hop?
people.
Exactly.
White kids,
Yeah,
white
for
suburban
real.
kids were the
White
main
suburban
consumers
kids.
of hip hop.
That is true.
but we're the consumer of everything else.
No, we're the producer.
I'm just
We're the
saying.
creator.
I'm talking about where our money goes. All
Oh,
our
no.
money.
I mean,
All our
everything.
money in our pockets go.
That's not
We
true.
walk around broke, but we be wearing all that. You feel me? And in the club, popping the
Not
bottles
anymore.
because
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So we were talking about
I'm just saying the imagery
we're
of
spending
it,
the
though.
most,
I'm
but
just
we have the
saying.
lowest net
There's
worth.
layers
Is what
to it.
you're
There's the
saying.
imagery of it. I would go deep. You feel me?
That's
It's
not
still
what
a problem.
people are doing right now.
I don't know.
People are becoming
Design-
more
foreign
aware
cars,
of black
all that
designers.
stuff.
They're buying
Cool.
black.
Yep.
They're investing in black film. They're investing in black fashion.
True.
They're
And-
investing in black
and the
watches.
choreo-
They're investing in
for the
And
black-
we're
period of
becoming
time
more
of everybody-
educated in the
Like,
process.
Because everybody's watching
Wait,
right now.
Wait, hold on. But I think the
everybody's
choreographer
watching
was
right
black.
now.
Yes.
Fatima Robinson is a G.
The
She
designer
did
was
Busta
black?
Rhymes,
Okay.
a nod to Paula Abdul.
What you call IKEA is serving fried chicken and watermelon and strawberry soda for Juneteenth for their people. Like I'm just saying, like everybody's trying.
I almost choked on the soda. Can we not? Stop
But
lying.
what I'm saying is everybody's paying attention. So everybody's making decisions right now to what people are watching. Yes, people are buying black because guess what? Everybody's paying attention. But guess what? Eventually that's going to die down. Just like we was boycotting Gucci or whatever when they made the blackface shirt. How long did that last? Black folks, I can't stop wearing Gucci. It didn't last too long.
It depends if we're hot or not. That's all.
I'm just wondering what
So
you're
here's
looking
the thing,
at
though,
and who
but
you're
you
around.
gotta
Because
remember
I'm not
duality.
seeing that.
This is one of the things where we can now talk about duality, how two things can be true.
Yeah.
It can be true that this can hit a nostalgia place and, as Tana said, feel good. And I can enjoy it because it now hit this place. You know, I was born
heard
and
that.
raised in Tacoma. So
hear that.
though I might never, I lived in a two-parent home and we, did pretty well. So though I can't identify with the lifestyle like Marv can, so it hits him in a different place.
Right.
You know, when I'm just like, oh no, we just listen to it on the music. So this does something for me. But we can now talk about the duality of the situation, how it can still feel good and it can still be poor imagery. How we can talk about this is legacy and this is this and this is this. However, as they've grown, maybe we should have picked a different song, or maybe even if we picked the same song, maybe they could have
What
picked
would
different
it
choreography,
be?
different dancing.
They have
anything.
different music that
They have
they
different
done.
other
Would it be?
But
they
I
have a
think because
whole
the song,
catalog of
if
songs.
the song was Dre Day and it was the next episode, so it's not like the songs are bad. If the dancers had all black on, no khaki, and he had all black on and no khaki like the video, then we'd be having a different conversation.
Right.
True.
That's what it
True or
sounds
right?
like.
I'm just saying, if you dig into those lyrics, I'm pretty sure they are.
Right, but that's why now we can
the
talk about
imagery-
duality.
Come
It's all
on,
it is.
man.
Like, we can talk about how two things can be true
and
in
that's
a
my
situation.
problem sometimes with black folks, because we can't. It's like, oh, we could do better, and it's like, oh, that's just who we are, and it's like, no, we trying to be better.
I'm
just saying, like, come
totally
on,
agreeing.
man, like, come on.
I'm totally
man.
agreeing that we can definitely be better, but I also see that we are doing better.
Yeah, because the same.
So I'm not seeing a lot of what you're talking about. I'm seeing people actively engage and make moves that are intentional to progress. I don't feel like something's going to die down. I think seats at the table are changing, but that's also the space that I'm in.
Well, and I think
I don't know
also,
what you're looking at.
also some of us have left the table and gone on to do our own thing, because if you think about like you were talking about Gucci, I see more and more people, more and more designer labels and more labels that are getting like, but you're to a point. The duality of it is right now more and more people are putting money into black labels and black companies because it's the popular thing to do. But at the same, on the same scale, you have people that black people are recognizing that I don't actually need to purchase that thing.
I know people who who only buy black.
Yeah,
I know people who only buy black.
Exactly.
But you want me to tell you that? You want me to tell you one thing they do is they get horrible logistics. You know, they get bad products. And I'm just being real.
I'll let you know how.
Because I buy.
No, I'm just joking.
You're gonna love it, by the way.
Everything black is not tacky.
No, and
Everything black.
And I was just about to say we have a black creator who does makeup.
That are excellent.
She does
author,
makeup
let's
and
not.
author and whatnot. She got
Don't get
books
me wrong.
that she
new
stole
hoodie
from
coming
me,
in the
but
mail
she
that I
got
bought
books.
from Black owned
Wow. That story was about him and his mother.
There
still
are
support. I
plenty
still
of
support.
black businesses that are excellent.
You're
I'm
not
not.
you're not talking from a person
Yeah, you
who
get
don't
some
support.
tacky
Like,
stuff.
I support. Don't get me wrong.
I support too.
But at the
black
same time,
is
I'm just
excellent.
saying, we're
It's
not
not just
parading,
tacky.
We're also not parading those people in front of anything. I'm saying, I'm just saying, when the whole world is watching, and this is all I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing more than this.
Right.
I'm saying when the whole world is watching.
You would have rather seen a better image.
Regardless of, the whole world's watching. And we have a polarizing moment, a historic landmark. In past times, we've been better at this. Mm-hmm. We could have done better.
In past times, we weren't invited. In past times, we weren't included.
Martin
In
Luther
past
King,
times, we weren't
Martin Luther
seen.
King,
So Martin Luther King should have been at the
King,
halftime show.
And what I'm trying to say. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
No,
but
Yes, she was.
you guys are not hearing me. It's not about music. It's about having the moment when the world is watching and say, this is who we are.
Dude, we're all black. Everybody gets it.
That's not
Everybody in here is black, right?
So that's all I'm saying. So that's all I'm saying. I ain't saying nothing more than that.
But if the criticism is going to be there for your people, what is the contribution? What's the suggestion? Because that's just as much
like
of
I
a
said,
problem.
first you have to find the solution. First you have to find the problem to find the solution. The Super Bowl just happened. I just viewed it. I still had to digest it. Come on now. Let's be real. We talking so
It's
no,
in
I can't
Cali.
find the solution, but I can tell you what I did see. And I can tell you why I had a problem with what I did see. I'm a human being, and I processed it, and I said this does not work for me. And so you got why it did not work for me. Just why I got why it worked for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Point blank. That's it. It didn't work for me. As a black man from California, didn't work for me. I want better imagery. When we talk about black excellence, I want better imagery. You know? I don't want old gangsters crip walking. I don't want people talking about in that heyday when I was riding around doing immature stuff, listening to those things that they was talking about. No. I don't want that. I want better.
The only challenge I have, brother. 'cause
Alicia
I feel
Keys
you.
could have been up there.
She ain't from Cali.
It doesn't
She's from New
matter.
York.
It don't matter.
It does
I'm just
matter.
saying it didn't have to be it didn't have to be West Coast theme. I'm saying
But
at
it's
the
in
time
Cali, and they made it their business
they
to
did.
pull from Cali. Now,
They
here's
did
my
make
this
it
my
their
only
business.
challenge,
because it
brother.
all has corporate interests.
This is my only
just like
challenge.
just like Snoop bought Death Row.
If you
It all has corporate
are going to
interests.
put on this podcast a criticism, at some point, put a suggestion.
His suggestion was not have them crip walking. His
His
suggestion was change the imagery.
I'm just saying,
and that was a part of the history. His suggestion was
we're
simply
talking about a
put
global.
them in
But
black.
everything you saw
I'll take it.
Produced
I'll
by
take that
someone
over the
was
Beach
from that
Boys.
soil.
I'm saying I don't want to take the Beach Boys in.
Wow.
I feel you on the imagery. I get it. But you can't only put out criticisms when it comes to your people because you have a shared experience. You have a shared struggle. So maybe that is what they produce now.
I did say that they could have
But-
been out there and did different music.
It's
That's
almost
that's a solution to
to
what I
me-
said.
to
So
me-
obviously, if I did have solutions, nobody heard.
to me, this is the equivalent of criticizing how people participate in activism. You a sucker because you didn't march. You a sucker because you didn't do. You a sucker. Everybody has their own way of doing something. We got to pull wherever we are. I'm not against you. I'm saying, okay, I hear that. What about this?
I'm not against them. I just felt like it was a bad mark on who. But it is what it is. Like I said, I feel that way. I held how I felt because I knew it was going this route. I knew
love it. No, I'm gonna be honest. I love the fact that you shared because it's a very different. Thank you.
I'll
for
see you
coming.
later.
No, honestly, I feel like it can go either way, and everybody's comfortability level. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not
Yeah, I
comfortable
agree.
sitting in a room full of females. I haven't been.
right. This,
I mean, I prefer married friends.
I
So
prefer married friends. Well,
Yeah.
I'm married. I'm in that.
But
married
yeah, of
life.
course,
Yeah.
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 So I'm just saying, like, but usually if you're not, you're just in
Yeah.
a room full of females, like.
that's why I be
Right.
trying to hook my friends
like,
up
I mean,
so
our
that
one
they don't
friend,
be
we call her
single when
husband,
I.
brother. That's,
you
you know what
know.
I mean? Like that's, and he's cool enough, and she's cool enough. Like because we're friends outside of here, so we have a married friend, and we call her husband, brother. That is our brother. He comes to the rescue when we need him to. However, some of my other friends' husbands are to be like, what up? And then we go do what we gotta do.
But does that make it awkward when you're not? Like, do you feel okay, say you had a friend who you're not cool with their significant other. Or you're friends with a dude, but you're not cool with the female with their significant other who's a woman. Like, how awkward does that make it in dealing
My
with?
first marriage, my husband had a friend who was a girl, and I didn't think nothing of it. I was 21, so I grew up going to church, so I didn't go to the club. So she would come pick him up. They would go to the club. She would drop him back off. I didn't pay no mind to it. Years later, I found out they were having sex. But you know what I'm saying? So that's when it changed my mind and made me be like, "Oh, girl, you need to pull the cover from over your own eyes." You know what I mean? So it throws up flags to me now. So I don't know.
But I think that's a tough situation too, because you want to trust.
Yeah, I wanted to trust. I
People.
don't want to have to. I want to be able to give you a rope. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I don't want to be like, no, you right here. She can meet you there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know her. She was there before me. You know what I mean?
I get it depends. I said I have a guy friend. He came with me to the relationship, and so like, and I told him that, like, no, this is my brother, this is my friend. You know what I'm saying? And either you're going to be okay with the situation, or you're not. But he's not going anywhere. And he was cool with it. He was like, no, if that's your brother, that's cool. They've done work together. They've worked together. He and I we've never done nothing, and he's. And so
But
my
if-
boyfriends are here
but
with it. So I
wait.
think
And
it's-
then
but again,
you me say
everything is-
something for me. I much love for that man and his heart and everything, because I couldn't do it, because the thing it's not about her.
Right.
It's the dude. That's what I'm always worried about, because I don't believe it could be real, but I don't believe there's a dude that's like best friend. Like,
you're saying her friend.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See,
and I'm not.
I was
knocking
gonna-
him.
I was
don't
gonna
know
say
him,
that.
so
Story
I'm
in the
not-
world is
I
what
don't-
you're
I don't know
saying?
him. Yeah. I don't know him, so I'm not knocking him. So I can't speak on him. But
Yeah.
for me,
Not-
my personal, I just. Like best friend, like y'all should be in love, like, like y'all should be in love, like
I'm not
y'all
starting.
probably
I'm not,
finish each
I'm not
other's
starting nothing.
Y'all probably finish each other's sentences and stuff like that. You know, like,
is
no,
it-
we can't.
I feel like it's and in that situation, because I've seen that situation. I've been in that situation. Sometimes, huh? Oh yeah. Sometimes, like, because when I moved here to Washington, I had really good friends who were females back in Michigan, and then the person I was dating here wasn't for that, and so I kind of cut them off.
Would you deactivate your Facebook?
I did for a while, but I was off.
Because that's the only way.
That's the thing. Like I did for a while, but then
a few people. How many are
when
there?
that relationship, be quiet. When that relationship broke down, I had to try to rebuild
Exactly.
those friendships. But also, I think there's a way that it's kind of unfair to the person you're dating to say it's either you or you come along with us, or you're by the roadside, because this person doesn't want to be romantically involved. Like, I want to be romantically involved with you, but I gotta bring your friend could be extra baggage.
But he's not. Well, you guys have met Cameron. Cameron was here last time.
Oh yeah,
That's
I'm saying like
Oh,
I'm saying the
that's
situation.
him. Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, I know that's different. That's
See, it
different.
depends on what they look like.
So wait, if he had looked a little different, and
He
was
came in here like Idris. If he came in here like Idris,
like Idris Elba or something like
yeah. If he walked in with that swag,
You just waiting for your opportunity, pimp. Like, come on, man. I ain't doing that. You know, like
I think, but he's different. He's cool. He's cool. He's cool.
Because hold on, usually opposite sex best friends like that is usually like he had a girlfriend and she was single.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then-
They both wait for that
and then she had a
opportunity.
boyfriend,
and
he
then-
was single, and it's never really matched up, but they know each other so well.
We
And
made
it's
a
like,
positive
no.
effort to never date. We've never kissed. We've
No.
never date. We've never done any of that. So then when I got in this relationship, it was simply, this is my brother. All right, cool. And he just took it for what it was. You know what I mean? And we always think.
But his deposition is of a cool, acceptable person. So I wouldn't
different.
even
He's just real cool.
like not even saying like not saying that. I wouldn't and not saying. I don't know how to say it.
You're just saying you wouldn't.
I wouldn't feel
threatened.
like
You wouldn't
That's an
threaten-
honest
you wouldn't
statement.
feel
That's
threatened?
honest. That's honest. That's
I wouldn't
honest.
feel threatened by him.
Yeah. That,
Like, I
but
wouldn't-
that's a lot of
and
people.
it's not saying
Yeah.
anything about like him. It's just like after he presented himself to me, like he seems like a genuine person.
Even
And
his
so,
demeanor
like,
when
I
he
wouldn't-
sits on the
I
same
wouldn't
couch
be-
as her.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah,
you
I
would
wouldn't
think
be
they were
threatened.
family
It's a
instead
friend.
of.
Yeah.
I felt like I knew him for
Yeah,
a
me
minute.
too.
I feel like I knew him for a minute.
Yeah,
just
he was
'cause
real.
it's-
Yeah, he's
no,
that
that's-
type person. He
I
gives
got
fan
you.
vibes.
I just think
Fan.
sometimes-
So
Everything is
there's an
situational.
exception to the rule.
There's
No.
Everything
Go
is
ahead.
situational. Nothing is love.
But in normal, he would have to be milking cookies day. I'm just saying. Normally, he would have to be going to Capitol Hill clubs and stuff. When y'all do
Twerking
when
on the
y'all
couch.
do females nights out, I guess that
He
or
needs to be
them
with
nights
ya.
out. You feel me?
Right.
If you do them nights out, then
He needs to be
you
the
go
leader.
there. Yeah, you can be the leader. I don't care, but he can just he can do his thing, whatever. But Idris Elba, Tank like type dude. Hell no. I'm sorry, but y'all can't be friends. no
You
more.
came home and he was sitting on the couch.
believe that the person who you are, your partner, is the person who you're in this relationship with.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you can't trust your partner, then why are you even with that?
Oh no,
person?
it's not her.
So no, I'm just saying. Even
him.
if no, but that's what I'm
Stop.
saying. Even if it's him, she's the one you're in. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
You
She's
have to
the
trust that
one.
if he
Yeah.
tries, I'm
You,
gonna say no.
exactly. So if you're worried about him, that tells me that you're worried about
No,
her.
I'm protecting her because what
happened?
I'm gonna explain to you. I'm gonna explain to you. I'm protecting
unless he's physically forcing her to do something, she can refuse or say no. I'm not about that.
I'm protecting her.
So
Hear him, Mark.
No, seriously. I'm protecting her.
Hear him out.
Because the day that he forces himself on her, and she realized that their platonic friendship was no longer platonic friendship,
It was the
and
guys,
then it
yeah.
breaks down, and she comes back crying, and then I got to console her. Like, not saying that I don't want to have to do that, but I'm protecting her from that. And so what I'm saying is that at the beginning, I trust her, but I don't trust you. So you can't come in this relationship with us. You feel me? You got to bounce, pimp. You feel me? And guess what? I'll tell you, and nothing's promised. If it don't work out, she still can be your friend. But I'm not promising that. And so that's how I feel about it. You can't take this journey with us, pimp. You feel me?
And I think that's the thing about. I think some people. I think sometimes we don't give the person like. There's some situations where we don't give the person like, hey, it's given to them as an ultimatum, versus, hey, this is who they're like. It's always like first explain, like this person been with me through this. Like sometimes it's like threaten, like if you don't want to be with them, we don't want to be with them also, then you can't be with me. And sometimes there's like it's kind of like a negotiation. Like, look, this person's been around. It's my really good friend. They're dating. I've been in situations where I live in Washington, and people be like, "Well,
I've had that happen before,
you
too.
still talk,
I
yeah,
wanna,
you
like,
still talk to somebody, you still talk to what's the name, Trey, that
California.
lives in." And I'm like, I'd be like, "Don't he know I don't like you, and I live in a different state, so I don't want you. Period. Like, if I wanted you, I would have stayed there. Like, if I would have tried, and I would have stayed there. Like, so I don't know. It's just." I feel like sometimes there's a negotiation that has to go on.
I feel like the guy, if it's a guy for me, he has to go through hot seat rapid questions. Like, hey, what color areola?
That
He stuttered like, you know. Nope, you can't be here. You sneaky.
Everything goes back to communication, like you said, trust and communication. Can you trust them?
Right.
Can you guys communicate? You know,
That's too much
Well,
work.
what if
I'm
he
sorry.
knows what color the
Case look like
areola
this.
is because he's helped her put on her bra? 'cause
There you
Oh,
go.
then we
Yeah.
definitely not. But
what if he
and you helping her unzip and put on bras and stuff like that?
Wait.
No, Pim,
What if she was
I've
drunk?
dated two gay guys.
And
So,
If she was drunk, you put her in the bed fully clothed. She better
No.
wake up what she had on last night.
I hate you.
Well,
I don't care, mascara running over and everything. I don't care. Don't even wipe her face.
running up on the house.
Leave her like that.
Don't
Wake
worry,
up like she was in that.
Drop
she
her on
was
the
in-
doorstep and
on
just
the
drive
house.
away.
I'll come pick her up. Thank you.
For real. You called me. So she drunk right now. You need to come get her. I'll wait till-
See, I think that's the thing. That's an honest thing though, because some be like, "Oh, I took her home. He gonna take me home." Nah.
No, you ain't taking her home.
You at work.
on,
Now,
take
you was
her
at work.
home.
No, I'll get off of work and take her home.
No,
Or
I'll meet y'all.
Not
I'll
a doing
meet
too
y'all.
much.
I'll meet
Exactly.
y'all at the front
Yeah,
step. Make sure
exactly.
she walk up by
Exactly.
herself. You feel me?
I don't
Crazy.
need you to unlock the
You talking about
door.
we'll take her home.
Yeah.
Hold up.
I think
As a
but now
matter
that
of
goes
fact,
back to the
2 nights ago,
Then you gonna be
Chris
talking about
had to
Jamie
leave for
Foxx
work,
blaming
and
on alcohol.
he was okay with one of my exes dropping me off at the house because he trusts him and he trusts me.
Bless your heart, because that's not me.
Said he trusts Cameron. He
No,
trusts
but
me.
no,
Like he
guess
knows
what?
that we
I
ain't
ain't
doing
gonna-
nothing.
Who?
He
So
trust.
my boyfriend, like he trusts Cameron.
What's
he
his
trusts-
name?
He trust her. You trust her.
Because I ain't seen a
But
picture of him yet.
I ain't mad at you. You feel me? Bless your heart.
I hate
Bless
you.
your heart.
Bless your heart.
No, he's a good man.
You gonna have to keep that bless your heart
No.
though.
Right.
I
He
know
a
what
good
that
man.
means.
He's a good man. No.
Bless
he's a
your
good-
heart.
No, because he's a good man. Because
Yes.
no. I swear, man, I couldn't do it.
And he's befriended the guy. Like they're
No, I couldn't do it.
Right.
cool.
my
Because the whole
boyfriend, they're
time, all I
friends,
could
they
think
work
about is you was
together, it's
porking
cool.
my girl. That's all I could think about. That's me though. The only time every time I see you, I was like, man, he done been up in it. That's all I can see, and I know it's true.
But
Wait,
that-
wait. Do you have some type of trauma?
No,
Right?
it's just-
No, no.
But that's a
Yeah.
but that's a true feeling
But
because unless you was her ex in like the first grade.
Like I'm pretty sure.
But that's even worse because he
I'm
knows
pretty
her.
sure you know
Right?
the inside of her. So that's all I'm saying. Like, and that's like to me, I feel like no, but like to me, I feel like a person. It becomes to a person like if you with somebody, like their body is almost kind of like sacred to you, right? And I don't feel like I could be in the same room with somebody who I know. Who has like violated that temple? You feel
It was
me?
never a
I didn't-
violation.
No, it is
Okay.
No, it's not
It was
about that because
consensual,
I know it's all charted territory. I just don't want to know who's conquered it before me. That's it. I don't want to be looking at the dude who. I don't want to be looking at my my Neil Armstrong. That's who he is. He was the first one to plant. You feel me? This is.
You don't want to
I'm
meet
gonna
other
move.
dudes. Second,
Planting my flag.
Yeah.
Like, nah, dog, I don't want to be looking at you the whole time I'm with her. Like, come on, bro. And that's me.
Yeah.
So I commend you. You're a great dude. Hey, every time I find out new stuff about you, bro, you make me feel bad. I feel like I'm going to hell after knowing you. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like Satan got a special spot for me because
You're
you
so stupid.
definitely going to heaven. I know that. You feel me? I know that for a fact.
It goes back to communication.
Yeah.
I think
Talk to
yeah.
her.
that-
And if you can, and not even just trusting your partner, but also like you said, trusting the guy. You guys have met him. You all said that he was all pretty cool, and I guess it's kind of how my boyfriend
Yeah.
feels about it. It's just like
Who?
no, he's just this kind of how my
What's his
boyfriend
name?
feels about it. That everything is cool.
Because we ain't
So I
seen him
think-
yet.
No.
He need to come up in here. So
Yeah,
we
that's the truth.
So we can be like, oh, that's that. Like, get back in.
or not. Keep it a mystery.
But here's the thing, though, because I've had the same experience where a very good friend of mine slept with my ex-husband.
Oh, snap.
Because it is a thing.
But here's the thing: we know who our friends are, right?
Right.
Because I knew she was the top. I knew she was
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
you know. Who
I
your
knew
friends
she was
are.
out there. I just didn't think she would done it to me.
To you.
Oh, I don't trust a woman as far as I can see. I would never let a
and that
female
was
stay
and
the
that
night
was
in my
the
house.
thing. So, like I said, I knew she, who she was. I just didn't think she would step over the line.
You thought you were
with me,
the boundary. The
right?
accepting
Because
it.
Oh, no.
because we were we were friends.
I don't put nothing past a
all
woman.
all and see that's
But you
that's
can
my
say
thing.
that. But
I
you can say
learned.
that.
I've
But-
learned. But here's the thing.
But you can
But
say
here's-
that.
Wait a minute. But here's the thing. I didn't step to her when that happened. I stepped to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Everybody's
He's the one
getting
that's
it.
responsible.
Right.
Everybody's
I
getting
stepped
it.
to him.
He could have
Now,
said no,
she's
right?
my bestie.
Exactly.
He know
I
who he
stepped to
belongs
him. Now, because she was my friend, first before I even met him, I had a conversation with her. Like, why would you do that to me? Yeah. But I wasn't going to be scrapping with her.
Oh, there's no question to ask.
You know,
she know why she did it. I don't even care why.
Right. But my thing is, I believe that he and I was in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
So his commitment is to me. So we got to have a conversation.
That's true.
You know,
Did this happen in the state of Washington?
No, it did not.
Okay, cause I was about to say it ain't enough sun out here. She wanted everybody to
But no, for future reference. But I have female friends. Like, I trust her. I trust her.
Except
Except
for with your book.
You trust she ain't
You
gonna
stole my
steal?
book.
You trust she ain't gonna steal no money out your purse?
I know.
No, I
know, right?
I trust her.
But I think that's a good thing. And what you said,
But
you
some
step
women
to the
have different
woman.
characters.
Yeah, sure.
You step to them
got me doing
separately.
this.
You
You
step
got
to
me.
them
Yeah.
separately, like because there was two different situations going on. Not
Right.
like, hey, blaming her for what he did. No, I'm
Right.
blaming both of y'all for what both of y'all
Yeah,
did.
Thank
exactly.
you.
And
That's why I said
I-
everybody's
I-
gonna get it.
Both of them going to the trash for me. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie.
First of
I'm
all,
both of y'all getting thrown away.
It's not like I didn't have,
Both of y'all
those,
getting thrown away.
those
you knew,
those
and
thoughts.
you knew.
'Cause trust
It-
me,
no,
I
both
could
of
have been
y'all-
in jail by
Yeah.
now
Both of
but
y'all-
for the
No, both of y'all
thoughts.
knew.
But
Right.
Now, if it was like you went out and it was like a stranger or something like that, like I can't be mad at him. Like you don't know, you ain't into me in my life. You don't know me like that. Woo, woo. But if you know me, and you know,
And you still do
both
that?
of y'all go. Man, I'm throwing both of y'all in the fire. That's it. Both of y'all go. It's gonna be the Eminem where he walk in and it was the stand or whatever. Yeah, I'm capping both of y'all. It's both getting clapped. That's how that's happening because
Completely.
you both knew. No,
Right.
you both
You
knew.
both
And
hurt
see, y'all
me.
both
You
played.
know what I mean?
You feel me? Yeah, and then y'all.
We didn't just
he
meet you,
ha,
you my
ha, and in
bestie.
my face.
True.
Oh no, you feel me? I'm finna catch him on a late night. You feel me? Blindside you, then you walk to your car, wop. You feel
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna be a little nicer to her, but she gotta go.
you don't have to be friends, but I think there should be a mutual level of respect.
Yeah.
Oh, you cross all lines.
For your
of respect
for his friends to me and for me to his friends.
Okay,
There's a
when they
mutual
visit,
level of
okay.
respect.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So you don't have to be bosom buddies,
No.
but at least be cordial about it.
Right.
So
Because we're about to be at birthday parties forever.
Exactly.
For the
you
rest of
know,
the relationship, we're about to do this whole
and I
concept.
think it's a lot of pressure when you put on a man that, oh well, I don't like your friends, you can't hang out with your friends. So who he supposed to hang out with?
I dated a girl.
I don't want
No,
I don't want you hanging out with me all day.
Like I dated.
I don't know. If
So
I don't like his friend's
I
character,
dated a girl
it's
and
a no.
I actually hated her friend. Like her friend was like I hated her, but I understood that was her friend. You know,
Right,
like, So I
right.
just was like, and I didn't like a lot of times voice my opinion on how I felt. She knew how I felt about her, but like I didn't make it always known because we already talked. You already know, so it's not a big deal.
I've had-
but I didn't
No.
I matter of fact, I ran into the girl the other day in like the grocery store, and she seen me and she was like, Marvin, and she was like, I haven't seen you in a long time, and she went to give me a hug, and I was like,
Elbow.
I gave it to her one because it had been awkward, It was one of those things because it was in public, and so I was like,
You wanted to put
But
your
I was
hand on
like-
the forehead?
I was like, for real? You act like we were like friends or something like that.
Right.
It was weird, but
I've seen my mom do that too. She didn't like a couple of my dad's friends.
Yeah.
See, I don't wanna
And
feel that way.
And but she was still very.
But would you make them stop being friends with a person because you didn't like them?
She let
I
them
would.
do. She was
Really?
respectful
I would.
to them, and
She
she
would,
did
but I'm
cool.
saying that.
100%.
Oh,
you
okay.
gotta step in
You
their
would-
way. I
you
let
would
them
say-
do
I
their
think it
thing.
depends on the reason why I don't like them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so before it's like, well, don't. It's like, okay, so what is now the reasoning? Because
No, go ahead. No,
so what is
I
now
was
the
going to ask
reasoning
you a
as to why I
question.
don't like it just because you're weird? I said mom didn't like his friends because they just had very one was a little controlling and the other one was just a little out there. But so she was like, no, do your thing. I mean, he ain't controlling you. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? As long as he don't come to me crazy, and if he does say something about it. But if I think that there's other things going on, they're taking money from you, or they're whatever the case is, they're mean, whatever the case is, they're bullying you. Now it's time for me to again communicate and explain. I don't like so and so because
As
they're
long
maybe we should put some space there.
Right.
But that all goes back to communication and the actual
I've
and
been
the
blessed with
legitimacy
Chris
of
to be an
why I don't
introvert
But what if
and
it's-
not really
but-
have friends.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But what if
'Cause I
it's
don't wanna deal
what
with
if it's
people.
what if the dislike is petty,
Oh,
but it's still a dislike?
Chris is gonna go to his judgment day. Jesus
No,
gonna be like,
what-
"You loved everybody.
Like,
Come on, man, son. Come on,
Well,
Denzel.
but
At least try to
But
treat
that's- but
everybody
why
the
would
way
you
I want to be
destroy a
treated. That's
friendship
why.
over
That's what it
something
is.
petty?
I'm petty. I sit
That-
and talk.
I think
and Chris is like, that's not
honestly,
nice.
I think it has a lot to do with insecurity in your character.
No, God's gonna be
Because
like, you couldn't teach your
if-
wife nothing.
Because if you can be friends with someone as long as it's not affecting what we have going on in our house.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all could go and act silly all y'all want when y'all together,
Definitely.
but if it's not affecting
That's-
the
yeah.
mortgage getting paid, the kids getting picked up when they're supposed to, you know, all that stuff, your friendships are your friendship. If it's not affecting our relationship that we have, if it's not changing your attitude towards me,
You're just not gonna participate in it.
right?
Yeah.
But that's the
so
thing.
if he could separate the goofiness with his friends and come home and be the same loving person and just be, you know,
But
if
there
my
is,
life
but
is
there
the
has
same,
to be a
yeah.
line too.
Right.
And
there
that's
has
what
to be
I'm
a line
saying.
to say where.
And what happens?
That's what I'm saying. He has to.
Happen
He
in our
has to. He
marriage
has
and
to be
respect that.
the guardian of that line.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
So I listen.
Well, hold on. Can
you
I
don't.
ask
You
this?
can't own people.
Can
You
I
don't
ask
own
this?
people.
So, but-
everyone is responsible for their own actions.
But they're the guardian of that line, and if they aren't responsibly guarding that line and becoming and they're crossing it, when do you feel like it's
Who's
time
they?
to
The
whoever
partner
person
or-
Like
may be.
say your
Whoever the
spouse
person may
say
be.
your
Your
spouse has a
their
friend that's a
whatever.
habitual line stepper.
Yeah.
And
Habitual line
habitual
stepper.
line stepper, and you're like, you notice it once,
Right.
you notice it twice, you know, seventh time, do you say something, or do you just kind of be like, do you start checking them
if it's a
and
person-
the
if
person?
You
it's-
check.
No.
Well,
You check it
You
what-
check
right
it.
at
You
the
check.
beginning.
You check
At
the
the
husband
beginning.
and like, listen. You need to talk to them about that. Because if you don't, I'm gonna say something
Yeah.
about it, right? But if he can't stand up to his friends, then I don't want to be with a man who can't do that.
That's true.
Because
I'm
again,
just,
you
I'm
have to
just
protect
saying.
our home.
If you love me and you want to protect me and keep
So
what we
then
have
you
is
divorce
sacred,
your husband because his friend, or do you tell him,
I'm
listen,
not divorcing you
I'm
because
not
of your
re-
friend.
exactly.
I'm divorcing you because of the habit of stepping over the line, because we've now created a healthy boundary that's going to protect our home.
but it's
but
but
in
if
the
you're gonna
end, you're
continue-
losing your
it's-
husband
but what I'm
because he
saying
didn't
is
want
it's a
to.
Care about
character
the protection
flaw,
of our home.
if
That
you
has nothing to
understand.
do with your, because
It's-
that
yeah,
right,
it's a
because now that
character
has
flaw.
nothing to do with the friend. That now has everything to do with your disregard and the respect of our marriage.
But if he sees it differently than you see it,
That's a communication barrier now.
that's
That
what I'm
means now
saying.
we have to talk
Well,
about
there's
that
about
you're
a
willing
billion
to-
of those in
Oh,
a marriage
yeah.
because
Or
men see
maturity-
things totally
or
different.
maturity problems.
But again, now we talk.
I
But
do too.
but
I didn't even
notice y'all got the
Oh
same
yeah,
color
they
on.
synced up.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah, like, yeah.
It was like they
synced
fist
up
came
and was
together.
Super Saiyan together. You see, I was like, oh, snap.
I came in like this.
Nobody else got it.
And she was like, you take this one, okay, good.
Yeah. Oh heck no. No, I'm
But
joking.
again, but right, because
It's like a little fusion going on.
But
right there.
because there's so many different communication, you have to now be intentional on how you learn to communicate to your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how to communicate. If you know how to communicate to Chris better than I ever would. You know what I'm saying? Though we've talked and we're cool, you know how this. You guys know how this works. So you know how to talk to him. And so now you be able to tell, these are the this is the boundaries that we've set for our marriage. And so now it has nothing to do with losing a husband. I've lost you because you don't respect our marriage. It has nothing to do with the friend at this point, because you are a habitual line stepper. And if you're crossing the line in these boundaries with your friends, then you're crossing other boundaries too. Mm-hmm. Because if
I
you
agree
don't
with that.
respect this line, then that means you don't respect none of these ones that we've set up either. And if you don't respect these lines, then I'm losing a not great husband anyway.
Right.
That has nothing
You
to
ain't
do with
never
our
lied.
friendships. That's now with you, and like you said, now character deficits. We now have to talk about our marriage, and we need to communicate what these boundaries look like. I seen that you crossed it. This is what we decided we were going to set up. Okay, maybe you didn't know that was an expectation for me. Cool. Well, now that you know, this is an expectation for me. I don't care that you go get beer with your friends, but I don't like you coming home drunk because of the kids. They see you stumbling.
Right.
Go to get beer, but can you maybe pull back one or two? Now that you've done this 4 or 5 times, listen. Maybe you need to not go out with them so much. Maybe we now need to adjust how we're doing things, because you're still coming home stumbling and the kids are still seeing you in this position. That now comes to communication. And if you guys haven't worked on that in your marriage, not your Pacific in general, that's a y'all problem. That has nothing now to do with his friends.
Yeah.
That has everything
That's
to do
true.
with the way we now communicate and your respect for me and your respect for our boundaries in our marriage.
That's true. Just like when spouses, when the people who significant others, when they hide the person who they're dating, and then social media, and then the person's like, you don't even show me online.
First of all, nobody.
I don't.
No, I'm saying, because I've had that.
And what he's trying to say is,
He's trying so hard
I dated somebody for 4 years. Nobody on Facebook knew. Instagram, not a picture, not a nothing, and it was one of the most healthiest relationships I had.
Listen,
Well, I think that's I think.
Still talk to that
Is
person
that
to this
okay?
day.
Okay,
Like, we're good friends.
Does social media
because of that?
Is social media a different category of friends?
Are they really friends though?
You don't have no real friends on social media.
That's a fair point, and that's a
People
fair
that you
that's a
know.
fair point too.
Social media invites opinion.
It sure
Yes.
Social media.
I don't
is
really
is
consider that I
the
have
idea
friends.
of
I have a
meta
lot of
and where it's
associates.
going.
I have
It's
good
the very
people.
beginning. It's the virtual world of virtual people trying to compete for virtual happiness, and it just and then it causes virtual destruction.
I'm cool with people hiding their partners on social media because your relationship.
You know what?
Because your relationship.
I don't think it's hiding. I don't think it's hiding. It's like you just
You
don't
know
need
he
to see
gonna have
that
an
part.
excuse for it.
You guys, everybody knows you
Those
guys
hiders
are a
have an
package deal. So it's
excuse.
different. Everybody knows you guys are a package deal. You guys are everywhere with each other. If you're at Nate's Supercup, you guys walk in with it. Like,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are a package deal, so everybody knows that. So if you guys share each other, that's one thing. But sometimes some people don't need. I don't feel the need to parade I don't need. My circle, some of the dudes I know, I don't need them to know who I'm messing with.
Yeah.
'Cause the first time they figure out who I know I'm messing with, they're gonna start testing her.
Right.
And they're not gonna test her in a good way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know? They're gonna start going after her like wolves on bloody meat. Like
I went through that with my first husband.
and, it's
His
real.
His
And so,
brothers
like,
of all his brothers,
yeah,
every
and so
single
it's
one
like,
of them.
you know what?
I was like, God,
you don't
dog.
even need to know. Like, there was a couple of my friends that had only even met her that I had ran with that had even met her because I knew that they would respect the sanctity of my relationship. But I didn't put some people still don't even know that I even dated her. Like, that's just the way it is because that ain't everybody's business. And so what social media has became is it's became everybody's business, and I'm going to dissect your business to the point to where it becomes poison to your relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody's not as confident walking around and being a package deal. You know, like especially some of these relationships are walking on fragile ground. And something like social media can be strong enough to just tear that thing down before they can even build it up.
Yep.
You know, so we're putting brand new relationships on social media. That's why a lot of relationships aren't lasting, because the first day people realize they're in a relationship, they announcing it to the world. You know, and it normally wasn't like that. You maybe announce to the world your wife,
And you get
but
you
not
actually
your
elicit.
girlfriend day one.
You get people, like you said, you get people who will try to tear it down or who will try to poke holes at it or who be like, well, I used to talk
I
to
wish
them.
somebody
They
would.
was in my DMs.
You know, there's just a lot of miserable people who
There
like
are.
to see people miserable,
Mm-hmm.
and they would do stuff just to say, haha, your relationship wasn't that strong to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Just miserable people.
A bunch of people
You
don't
know,
wanna see you
I
happy.
had what I thought was
Not see
girlfriends who
others
were supposed to be in my wedding like that, and I was just like,
But
oh,
once they do that, you know who
Okay.
they are, and you can just cut
Right,
yourself from
right.
them.
But what?
That's
Listen,
cool,
I've
but-
learned a lot.
Right.
But why?
Being
Right.
now that
I'm a
I'm
Gemini.
divorced,
I'm okay with
divorced.
letting people go.
So I've learned a lot.
I'll let
you know,
anyone go.
What you know,
No.
if your best friend is a top, don't have her.
Right.
Don't have
that's
her
a
introduce her to your
never,
husband.
bruh.
You know, I'm just saying.
You can
but-
only come around when everybody's here, so we can
Right,
all watch you.
right. You know,
Okay.
but you learn from your mistakes,
Right.
True.
right? So
That's
you
true.
you can see all the red flags for future relationships, and trust me. Now that I'm dating, it's like, okay, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. I'm not going. I'm not even going to make. I'm not even going to waste the time. I'm not.
Yeah, you used to go to the bathroom and say, "Watch my drink." Now you gotta say, "Watch my husband." Watch my girl. You feel me?
watch that girl. She had 3 drinks. Watch it for me real quick.
All right, Trey, what's up?
We about to. This is the last topic, so we can get out of here.
Will and Denzel?
Yeah, Will and Denzel.
What about him?
Oh, what?
Who is the? I forget what did I put? Did I just put the movies?
Better movies.
The yeah. Whose movies would you take? Whose career would you take? Would you take
Career?
like who's like? Okay, we're gonna do movies or we do career. Let's do
Isn't it
career.
synonymous though?
Huh?
Well, it's kind of. I'd be kind of hard because
It is.
because Will Smith has done
Will
more
Smith-
than like as a
Denzel
variety.
didn't.
Like,
yeah.
No, I'm talking about like as a variety. Like
He's
you
an
could-
He has more
actor.
hats
He's
than
a
the
Yeah,
rapper.
Denzel's a actor, and that's where we're gonna base his whole
Doesn't he
career
produce-
off.
But
of.
he
produces
started
director
on.
something, doesn't
But we're gonna.
I think we're too young to have been like, oh, I love Saint Elsewhere because that's when
What is
Denzel.
Oh,
that's
I grew
when
up in the
Denzel-
Caribbean. St. Elsewhere was on for very longer than
What
it
is
was.
St.
No, but
Elsewhere?
what I'm saying is-
on
but that's
repeat,
TV, right?
On
Yeah,
repeat.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what I'm saying is, you're gonna judge everything that Denzel does by on screen, and Will Smith.
Oh,
is
yeah.
he does music.
True. That
and
is very
that's
true.
what made them big. And then you got the Fresh Prince.
So it's
and
not
you
as
got-
a fair comparison.
It's not a
and
fair
so it's just
comparison.
not-
So let's do movies.
Movies, okay.
Let's do movies.
And that's
Oh.
not fair.
Denzel all day.
Because Denzel got a bigger collection and a more established collection than Will. Will has good movies, but Denzel's
are
been
better.
doing it for a longer time.
He's also a trained actor.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but
That's
he's been
true.
doing it for a way longer time. So I just don't think it's a fair comparison. I just think that they're both great. They're both great at what they do, and they're and I'm glad that we couldn't have
No.
I knew.
do the halftime show. Everybody in the summertime.
No.
Summertime. Everybody been up in there. She would have been in her kitchen. She would have been in her kitchen dancing fried chicken. You feel me? It wouldn't have changed the thing.
Crip walking
You
to
feel me?
summertime.
No.
We'd all been two-stepping.
No, then
Nobody
your
been
booty
crip walking,
bumping
we'd have
then.
been two-stepping.
No, ain't right.
Snapping and two-stepping. That's what you see. Black people at their excellence. You know what I'm saying? Instead, we was crip walking, and we had Bloods was probably crip walking. And,
You know they was mad.
Now I know a lot of bloods who walk.
But I honestly would take Will. Like I would take Will's movies
You would.
over Denzel's. And here's the reason why. I feel like at a certain point, Denzel has to be Denzel no matter what.
so does Will.
But
Yeah.
but Will's gotten a chance to do different things,
Yes.
even though we still consider him like, even though we're like,
agree.
Will, he's still been able to do different things, and we've been able to see him in different light.
I feel like Will has more
Malcolm
range.
X.
I
When
don't
it was
disagree.
Malcolm X, what was it? Denzel was Malcolm X.
True, but you still saw Denzel in there
Same
versus
face
like
expression.
No, he was Malcolm X.
Malcolm X versus Muhammad Ali.
You still,
Right.
you
And
see,
okay,
you see
so
Will
then
in
you want to take
everything
that,
he
But
do.
you-
then we
not-
could,
but
then
not
you could
as
throw,
much.
You could throw Jamie Foxx in there and say Ray Charles. Like that's
But
what I'm
he-
saying. Like and it's also
would've been a better
it's also
fight.
time. It's also
Jamie
time
Foxx and
comparison
Will Smith.
because Will got a chance to spend time with and be around them
Yeah.
and be able to take that in. Jamie
Denzel-
Foxx got a chance to
Denzel got a chance.
didn't get
He got a chance to sit around Sidney Poitier.
But
And
he didn't get
Oprah?
a chance to sit around Malcolm X and be able to understand who Malcolm X really was, so he could be able to put that
But
part on. He was
around Muhammad Ali when he was. I don't even want to say it.
But
he was around Muhammad Ali when he
but
was
it's-
almost gone.
Of course, but it's a difference. Jamie Foxx was around Ray Charles right before he died.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's not necessarily about being around that person at their peak performance. It's about taking in who that person is, their personality, all that, understanding all that. You get a better understanding by being with that person than from somebody else always telling you. Denzel had to get all his information from Malcolm secondhand.
Yeah, 'cause-
Them other two didn't really. So yeah, they were able to put on a better performance with the
Yeah,
information
they got
that
to
they
sit
had.
next to him and kind of pick up
If
their
we're
little.
talking rewatchability over their catalog, I personally feel like I would prefer more of Will's movies over Denzel. I feel like he has more. I personally feel like he has more of a range. And when you look even impersonations,
He's just himself, and
Denzel-
he's the same person
no,
in every movie.
Right, Denzel is the same
No.
person in every movie.
Denzel's- Denzel has been more
I feel
himself.
like Will has more of a range because we have seen him in comedy. We did see him in The Men in Black. We
He's
did
the
see
same
him.
person in Hitch as he is in,
not.
in
No.
It's not
Independence
like
Day.
no, he's not.
Have you seen
I-
Denzel on stage? He's classically trained. He's done Shakespeare.
He's
He's
great.
done all these
Like,
different
I
things.
just think I personally, if we're talking about rewatchability,
My middle name is Denzel. This is, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gonna do my guy like that. You feel me?
No, and I
Because
personally,
let me
I
tell you
love
something.
him. I love
When you talk about
Denzel.
imagery, now that's we can bring it back to imagery. imagery. That's why my middle name is Denzel because
boy.
really, I'll give y'all a story. So I was adopted when I was in the judges' quarters. They said, "What do you want your middle name to be?" I looked to the left, and there was 2 magazines right there. It was Ebony and Essence, and Denzel was on the cover of both of them. That's what I want my middle name to be.
That story. That's
You know, and so that's when I talk about imagery. That's
a big deal.
So
for me. Like greatness, I was like, hey, and then
So
all the girls was
Leonardo
going crazy about
DiCaprio
Denzel.
had
I
been
heard
on
all
there?
my mamas and all
Okay.
that. My mama and her
Leo.
friends talking about Denzel. I was like, I need that. You feel me in my life. So yeah, no, it's but yeah, no, I rock with Denzel. He's all day.
I love Denzel. I don't think nothing wrong with him. I'm just saying if we're talking about, because we said movies and not career. So if we're talking about rewatchability of over movies, I personally feel like I
Training
would
Day,
watch.
I can rewatch over and
Oh,
over
I-
again.
I think,
Men in Black.
and I think as far as like,
You might
All
be.
day long.
You might be.
It's a
Men
right.
in
Well,
Black.
I
I guess
Legend,
Training Day.
I am Legend.
I guess
It's one
Training
of-
Day is
let me
like
take
one of the
over.
ones where you're like, the other one where he was Frank
Independence.
White.
What was it called?
American
Gangster.
Gangster. Yeah, American Gangster.
love it.
Those two. Like those are ones that I feel like they could be.
Yes, the Book of Eli.
Oh, but
God.
let's say,
he
let's.
has
I said,
top 10.
but he has some. But you gotta think
Book
about
it.
it. Like you're just saying, some people have to go back and think about some of these Denzel movies, except
Yeah.
for those ones. With Will, you could just run it off. Like
Right.
you know, you can just
Independence
you
Day.
hit Independence
Yeah.
Day.
Well,
you
I
know,
think-
like,
His
I
was
think the
dope.
one-
Yeah.
I just don't like
Wild
comparing
Wild
the two.
West.
Well, that
Men
means
in
true.
Black.
No, true.
That's
No,
what I'm
yes.
saying.
I don't
You
like.
can't compare the two.
I
But
think-
if we're going to,
I think the one of the things though is that they haven't allowed Denzel to actually do more comedy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because he's said he's wanted to do comedy. I think it'd be dope to see him.
I like
in
seeing his
in-
laugh when he
Yeah.
laughs in a
He
movie.
did a it was
I don't
called
really
Carbon
think-
Copy.
Is
Have
he
you
a
seen
comedian?
that?
Yeah, I don't really think it would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
sorry.
a,
I don't think it would be
Especially
good.
It was like in the
nowadays. I really
80s.
don't think
Oh,
it's
Where
okay.
Would it
he
be
was
Bad
a
Boys?
black
Would it
guy,
be Bad
a black
Boys,
kid, and
really?
he when
No.
he met this white guy, and he told him that he was his father. So it was a comedy. Denzel was in it. It's called Carbon Copy.
A comedy
Now I'm
comedy
looking
skit.
it
No
up.
one knows
Safe
who it
house.
is.
A comedy
because
skit
Ryan
is
ain't
one.
all that great.
Comedy skit
Okay.
is one thing, but to do a movie, I just don't think that Denzel can pull off a comedy.
No,
movie.
you're
He
right.
did one
I think
with-
so.
with,
I think he
Ryan
could.
Reynolds.
I think
No,
he
I
could.
don't-
Safe
it
House.
was- But come on, man.
Because we see him in
But he was
in a
himself,
different
you know
light,
what I mean?
though.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like nobody's
It's
gonna
tough
really.
to see him be comedic.
But-
It's like Jim Carrey.
But if
Oh,
but
It's
Yeah.
like Jim
You're not-
Carrey
that's
being
true.
serious.
You can't buy it.
No.
No, every time I see him, I see the mask. I see the mask. No, every time I see him.
Don't bring that
I
up.
don't.
That
Smoking,
almost
dude.
destroyed Jim Carrey.
The cable guy.
No, we're
that
talking about
movie.
no
when
the
he played
cable
that
the cable guy because it was dark. It was darker movie. It
Yeah,
wasn't
I
the
think
it wasn't
the other
it
one.
wasn't
I
the
was thinking
best.
about the one that he went into a depression.
Actually, the cable
trying-
guy
Oh,
was funny.
eternal,
Right,
eternal.
that's-
That
oh.
cable guy was
Cable
no
guy's
eternal mind or the spot.
They
Yeah.
just did it. They just
No,
did a
that
cable
one-
guy commercial for the
that
Super Bowl.
one
You
was,
seen that? That was hard. I was
Andy
like,
Kaufman.
That one was oh no, the Andy Kaufman one he lost himself in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was he went
Yeah.
he went a little too deep into
Yes.
it. And
Another one, what a lot of people don't know is the one with the reality TV show where it was like he was
Truman Show.
the Truman Show.
That was dope.
But I don't think like it was good, but I don't think people could appreciate it the way it
True.
should be appreciated because they only seen him in a certain light, and it was like it was supposed to be a deeper theme to it, and it actually had.
Because if you look at it now,
Truman
yeah,
Show
we
is
can
because
way
of
ahead of
social
its
media
time.
and everything
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
it hits
That's
different.
true.
Yeah.
It is
hits
true.
different.
It's
Yeah.
true.
It's like,
I
it's
said
different
Truman
now.
Show was way ahead of its
No, you're
time
right. No,
with
you're
the
right.
social media,
No, you're right.
everybody
That's what I'm
watching your life,
Yeah.
and
That's
that
what
kind
I'm
of
saying. It
concept.
hits different today.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
hits different
I
today
think
than
the
it did when
only
it came out.
the
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
actor
you're right.
slash
So right.
comedian that I could do funny and serious. He's dead now. Is Robin Williams.
see, but here's the thing.
He did a lot of very
Jamie does
deep
go
roles,
back.
But
doesn't
Jamie
and he
go
did a
back.
lot of
Jamie-
funny
Jamie-
roles.
Jamie
Jamie
Foxx
does
is
good.
smooth with it.
Jamie's good.
Like
Jamie's good.
like Robert De Niro.
I can't see
We
him
seen
as
him
funny.
in we seen
Robert
him
De
as
Niro
Robert
is
De Niro
hilarious.
funny. Yeah,
He's
in
hilarious,
Meet the
bro.
Fockers, he was funny.
Yes.
But then he's
He's
also
parlayed his career into from a very serious actor to a very humorous actor now
Yep.
because now all
a
he really
serious
does
humorous
is
actor
comedy.
because he never really laughs when he makes his jokes. If you
No.
look at it,
True.
But
he has a straight face.
But he has
But
he
he
has
wants
good
you to
comedic
laugh. He
timing.
knows
it's
it's
part of
funny.
his,
Yeah.
it's part
Yep.
of his humor. And
Yep.
so what they did was he went from always being in serious and thrillers and
Gangster
dramas
movies.
to now being always in comedies because
Yep.
he's you don't really see him in any serious movies anymore. He's always in comedies.
True.
I mean, Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, and Little Fockers. That stuff parlayed them into a whole. Now every time you see him, he's the funny dad or the funny grandpa.
Yeah.
or
Funny
something
grandpa.
like that.
Yep.
I love it.
I guess he had to just reinvent himself because after a certain age,
You can't
know.
play
Once you make so
mob
much
movies
money, you
forever.
do
Right, that's
Yeah.
true.
I loved him in Limitless.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
That was a good movie.
But yeah, I think I like Will's movies better, even though
It's like Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas did the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
true.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, trust
No,
That was
I seen
when Marv
Daddy's
got
Little
shot in the
Girls.
heart.
I
He's
seen
from the
Daddy's
US
Little
Virgin
Girls and
Islands.
everything like that.
He's from
Like
the
the movies
Virgin
and stuff
Islands.
like that. But when he had the accent,
It was too
he fucked
perfect.
it up for every dude in America. You feel me? Yeah, 'cause now
he's
it's just
good-looking
now
and an English
my
accent.
blackness was an aphrodisiac. Now you gotta be black with a British accent and shit. You feel me? Like nah.
All the ladies were at Obsession. They were all watching
He's
Obsession.
looking all good now.
It just Albert set
Okay.
us back. He set us back. He set us back. He should have just kept
A lot of-
talking
a lot
regular
of-
English.
A lot of the actors nowadays, a lot of them are British.
Yeah, what was the
They
the
do a
teenage
very
boy?
good.
Snow-
They do a very
Snowfall.
good American
Yeah.
accent.
Snowfall, the dude from
No,
Snowfall.
man.
That guy from Get
You know
Out,
who
he's
he
British
learned
too,
from?
The dude that played in the dude that was in what's the name? Get Out. I mean, not Get Out.
Oh yeah,
Us.
Daniel
The
Kaluuya.
dude that
Yeah,
was in
Daniel
Us
Kaluuya.
and Black Panther.
The dude who plays Snowfall, he learned his accent
And they all big
From-
and muscular and stuff like that.
from Dub C.
That
He
one
learned his
that
accent
played
from
with,
Dub C. They sent
Tay
him to
Diggs.
Cali, and they
college
had
kid.
Dub C pick him up, and they
That's
taught him how to talk like West Coast.
Yeah, but they
Somebody
not
from West
always
Coast.
like
From
these little
Dub
skinny
C?
dudes
Yep.
and stuff. They all muscular and
No,
big and
the little
everything
skinny
like
kid that played-
Not always, say not
I'm about to
always,
say.
okay? But they are most of the time they big, like
And they're good actors, too?
Yeah, and the chicks
They
be
got 'em
going
looking
crazy,
bad, huh?
and then you can't parlay off of that. You feel me? You trying to- I tried to learn the accent, I can't do it. I'm too,
I can't. Yeah,
Rosetta Stone won't teach you that.
no, Rosetta
okay?
Stone won't.
No, they'll teach you languages. They won't teach you accents.
They don't teach accents, no. And I don't know how they do it. They could do it like in an interview, like
Yeah, switch it off and on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a cheat code.
Because if you
Exactly.
That's a cheat code.
Imagery.
Yeah.
The imagery is
it's
bad.
back to imagery.
Because it's not bad.
Of course, it's not bad to you.
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying? You reinforcing my whole theology right here. Yes, it's
I
not
was
bad.
gonna say
Oh,
that's
my
sexy,
God.
but then
Of course,
I knew
yeah.
it.
But I think the reverse
No one
was
can ever
also
live up to that image.
it's a
No
lot
one
of
can live up to that.
There's a
image.
lot of
It's just
actresses who
what you do.
are dope, who are from the UK, who are from
There you go.
But they don't
From-
look as good as Idris.
Somebody tell it. Tell the story,
See?
girl.
See?
he whack. Now it's saying he whack now. No, he whack.
See? But we wasn't
Naomi
like
Campbell
little
had an
kids
accent,
going
right?
crazy
Look.
over the Spice Girls.
I know, 'cause yeah, exactly.
Like you know, damn, I know damn
I
Spice
love the
Girls.
Spice Girls.
Except for Mel
Yes,
B.
they did.
Except for Mel B, yeah.
Except for Mel B, that's it. You know, it's all I don't know what I like.
Looks way better now than she did then. Just
I know,
Oh
right?
yes, she does.
That's one of Eddie's baby
Whack
mamas.
now. No, I'm
Hey,
joking.
baby, mom.
Of course.
Hey, that's
what-
what I'm saying though. But but Ella May drive me crazy. You feel
Look,
me?
wait a minute.
Is she British?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, and I met her. I was at Microsoft. So
you said Ella made a singer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's crazy? What's crazy is I was dating this chick, right? And I didn't know either. And she's doing like Ellen or something like that. And she started talking. I was like, ooh. Okay, I didn't really listen to her music like that. I heard it, the song on the radio and all that. But I'm not the type to just 'cause I hear something on the radio, I'm gonna listen to it. This is not me. And so I heard it, and I'm like, but then I heard her voice. I said, ooh, she's sexy, right? And old girl, she's in there. She's like, oh yeah, whoa. And I'm like, well, she's a celebrity. I never meet her. A week later, I'm at work, and I'm just sitting there, and my partner come between. He's like, "Hey, Ella May's in there. She's doing sound check because we're doing this little event at Microsoft." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, so I go in the backstage and I see her, but she's doing a sound check. So I'm like, "Oh, I ain't gonna get to meet her because she's doing a little sound check." So I'm just sitting out there, and we just chilling, nothing. And I just see she started walking by, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm Ella May, right? And I just started. I'm like, oh, so
She dropped the British accent on you?
No, yes, she did. Right.
Oh
What was crazy was, and so I'm.
Was it a
I really get nervous.
was it a Cockney accent or was it like a Londoner
She
accent?
actually
Ooh,
said,
give
"I
it to
love
him,
you
girl."
too." That's what she said. So this is what happened. I thought
you
I was
love
gonna
her
be
then.
cool. I thought I was gonna be cool, right? I thought, I'm like, I'm nervous,
Fandom.
but I'm around all these
Immediate.
people that I work with, so I'm like, what if I just say, "Hey, Ella, I love you," but I say like soft enough to where like the people around her, she probably don't hear me. You know, but then all the people that's with me hear me.
Like
so then at least
Stalker
I said it, and they
Yeah,
heard me
yeah.
say it.
So you
And
got
even
proof.
if she didn't say it back to me, they could be like, "Well, Marvin at least said it," you know, right? So I say it, and I said it super soft. I didn't think she heard me, and she heard me, and she said it in the accent, and I
Give
was
it to
like,
us. No, I'm joking.
and I froze. I froze because I felt like I should have said something else after that, and it was like this awkward dead air as they're walking by.
No.
Right? Oh man.
She left you speechless.
I
Yeah.
didn't know she was
man.
British. That's dope.
I didn't know she
Oh,
was
man.
either. Actually,
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
the
That's another
sexiest
thing. What
in
is it
the
about
world.
accents that does that?
I don't know. It's something in our brain.
It's
that
not
just-
common. It's not
I
common.
think it's not common, but because even an accent from
actually-
a different part of the country can throw you
It
like
triggers the endorphins in your
like,
brain or something.
Because
like
a
that.
woman from New York or somebody from the South or something
Yeah.
like that will be way like it will be way
right.
different than
I-
from someone
I will
from
tell
around
you,
the corner.
this one's weird. This one's weird.
And then there's, but the South, there's two different
one's-
types of Southern accents now. There's the black Southern
This one's
accent and the
weird.
white
And
Southern
this
accent.
This one's weird.
That's true.
Another one that's sexy to me is Asian women who could talk fluent, perfect English. I don't know what it is about me.
You know what?
Asian woman, if she could, I don't know what it is. It's crazy, but if she could talk fluent like English, like I feel like I could have an actual conversation with her, like without the Chinese accent.
but she
like,
has an accent?
without the hint. No. Without the hint of the Chinese accent.
mean Mandarin?
Like it's something about it. No, every single time I don't know what
Nope,
it does. I'm
that's
like,
it.
damn, I swear it's crazy. I don't know. It's weird.
You know what? I've actually
Yeah, I think we
had
should.
people
Yeah,
come to me and say, "I love your accent," and I'm like, "What do you mean? You speak so proper. Where we're from, we don't speak proper." And I was like,
yeah, in the
"That's an
South it's a little-
accent."
That's a little bit disrespectful. It's just
It's like-
shut up.
So
No,
like,
it's the
and
South.
so,
In the
But
South-
they were from the South. They
in
were
the
from
South,
the
and the people in the
South.
South
You
they tell
know.
us we
so
speak
quick,
very
so,
proper.
So, Amber,
Yeah.
do you still hear my accent?
All the time.
I hear your accent.
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
I think
When you get mad, it
it's
gets really bad.
Yeah,
It's actually really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, I've heard it today.
yeah.
I've heard
If
it
you
today.
talk faster,
Yeah, you can hear it.
Once
does-
I heard your
ju-
accent, I feel like I've met you somewhere because I
Just
feel
like-
like I've talked to you.
just like Michael Blackson,
Yeah.
whenever he gets to talking, like when he talks slower and he can project his full voice, he has the black accent. Like he has the African accent. I don't know which country he's from, but he has that accent.
I thought
But
I
when-
read he
but-
didn't have it.
No, but
No,
no, he does. But when he in regular conversation, his Philly comes out, and it sounds like he's from Philly because
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, you faking an accent." It's like, no, if my words
He
are
had
more
the
deliberate.
accent, and he actually was trying to do comedy without the accent, and people told him that
Yep.
he would be funnier with the accent,
Right.
and so that's why he went back that way.
No.
But he does have like this feeliness to him, but when he starts to like really, really talk, you can hear it.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
just, like,
especially when he does the like 5-word sentences, suck. Yeah, when he says that,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you gotta say it in the accent. But yeah, I definitely when people who are from a certain place, their accent comes out when they're emotional, when they're trying to get out certain words.
Bro, I'm talking about like somebody who is clear, like you don't hear no hint of that. Like I don't know what it is. Like call me weird. I'll let y'all.
weird.
Hold on. Time out. I just divulged something that I ain't never told nobody. Like seriously,
my
that
bad.
was something that I've never told
He
nobody.
was vulnerable
I've
with
always-
us.
Sharing is
But-
caring, guys.
And we just stomped
Sharing
in
That
his
is talking about
vulnerability.
because I've never uttered those words before.
I apologize.
But it was because
And
when we started
sometimes
talking
things
about
are better
this, and I was
left
like,
unsaid. No, I'm
that's
joking.
weird. Like, when we started talking about the accident, I was like, that's weird. And then I thought about it, I was like, dang, because I really do that. And I've done it hella times.
Safe
like,
space.
I'll see it Asian.
But
I'll
you
be
see,
like-
it's a
I'll
podcast
be
now.
like,
Everyone
man, I'm
knows
pretty
what his
sure-
Achilles heel is.
Yeah, but I'll be like, man, yeah, she probably
they
got
gonna
one
start
of them
running
broken
up on him
accents.
now.
That's true.
And then she'll start talking, and I'll be like, oh, snap, she speaks fluent English. And I'll be like, damn, that's hot. Like, I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it is.
Marry me.
No, because
Have
it
3
could be
kids.
it could be a Spanish chick and she can't speak a lick of English, and I can still be like, man, she fine. And I'll try to do it.
I think a Spanish accent.
And I'll try to
is-
do it. No, I'll try to
about
do it, and
this
she
in,
not speak a lick of
Emerald
English.
Queen.
But let her
Oh,
be
gosh.
Chinese. There's nothing against like the dialect or anything like that. It's just something I don't know what it triggers something, and I'd be like, man, that's like sexy than a mug. I don't know why. You
Well,
feel
what
me?
if she speaks
It's like
British?
it's like people who are into Little People or whatever. I guess I'm into Chinese
she has a
women
British-
who speak fluent English.
What if he has a British accent though?
Oh, she was Chinese and she had a British accent. Oh my God!
There's
You
a
are
lot
giving her
of
my
that.
check.
There's a lot of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm depositing.
You
She
give
my
her your
direct
check, but I can't
She
get
get my direct
Issa.
deposit.
Idris, look.
Hey, transfer all my checks to her account. You feel me?
No, you can't have Idris. He sucks. He sucks
More
now.
imagery, remember?
I know imagery
Just poor
exactly.
imagery.
We suck handing.
I'm talking about an imaginary.
Especially with him with
Which is
that
probably not
cool,
imaginary because
him with
they
that
probably
cool
everywhere.
dumb coat on and Luther. That show is such a great show. It sucks and I hate it
Yeah.
so much.
That's why all the women
is,
know
huh?
what.
That was the only
I
time I
never
got to
watched
watch
the episode
Idris
of
with
Luther,
him and be
but I'm
happy.
pretty sure every woman in the world has watched
I
Luther
haven't seen
because
it.
it's
I've
him
heard really
and
great things
Chris
about
made
it.
me
Yeah.
watch it.
It's
it's
super
him in his
dope.
true
It's-
form. He's
yeah.
he's big, buff, black, walking around with British accent.
And
That's
he-
him.
and
It had
well, and
the
he's-
female version of Hannibal Lecter after him.
Yeah, I know.
like-
Yeah. She like you. Not. Have you seen it?
Oh,
No, you have
his
no. You
nemesis.
have to.
Yeah.
You
But they
have
became
to watch
friends.
it. His
Yeah.
nemesis.
That's real
His
weird.
nemesis
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
show.
I refuse
is,
to watch him.
He's a
I
serial
refuse to
killer.
watch anything where he does not use an English accent.
I was upset with
No,
his
because-
wife. I was like, what
No,
are you
no.
doing?
No,
What are
because you
doing?
would like. I think you would like his wife, because her accent makes her even doper too.
If she fine, then
She's
maybe.
fine, and
Yeah, man.
she look like
I
Cleo.
got
She
myself.
look like
I watch
she
a
look
lot
like
of
Cleo
shows just
Soul.
because the female be fine. I'd be like, I'll watch this.
But
And
no,
it'd be terrible. It'd be terrible acting. I'd be like, well, she fine.
But I think we can get out of here after this. But we can
Idris
I know.
got us in a loop right here. We were talking about Denzel and Will when Idris came in,
What they do,
and
what
he
they
just
do.
crushed it all, man.
Yeah,
It
we
was
gotta go.
over.
I gotta watch.
People waiting on me.
I got the TV, so I'm gonna watch it. But no, it's a dope show because it's like the British Columbo.
Yeah, the imagery of us running late does not do good for black people.
I was on time. I always be on time. Don't even say
Yeah.
it a word for all you people. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to Black Pew Podcast. Like, share, subscribe on our YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find us, wherever you listen to music or listen to podcasts, you can find us there. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Bing bong.